Fucking love that tune, Tom. Love that tune.
It's a good tune, isn't it?
Yeah. They should make a full song out of it.
There's about a song that we should do. Do you know? I bet you're a half decent singer, are you?
I like to think so, Tom.
We should definitely sing over it. I've started putting in. I don't know if you've listened back enough, but I started putting in just to break it up, just to put in clips from movies that I know the two of us love.
Yes. I'm absolutely certain that's going to get us like some sort of Apple strike down law or some shit, isn't it?
No, we see. I've played just short enough, and I played a tune underneath it that isn't there is no tune of it, and I cut it together in such a way. Like I cut one together. It's of the two boys, fucking meeting in Predator.
Yes, yeah.
Dylan, yeah, you son of a bitch. So I chopped it together to make it sound like Dylan. He called him a son of a bitch straight out the gate. So I don't think we're going to get pulled. But I mean, I'm open to fucking writing a song. And that's
going to be the title of your autobiography, Tom. Tom O'Mahony, just on the right side of the law. You're all very welcome to the Tom and Gerry show. We are in episode 5 of season 4. We nearly did it again, Tom. We nearly just fucking started rambling.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, look.
We didn't even say hello.
I know.
We're 10 minutes into the podcast. We didn't even say hello.
Yeah, we're fucking ridiculous. We haven't even said hello. We haven't introduced ourselves or nothing. I am, of course, Tom O'Mahony.
And I'm Gerry McBride.
There you go, of the Tom and Gerry show. Is there any changes to what your name, like the general populace would call you Gerry?
Yes. I was born Gerard, and my mum would still call me Gerard.
Is there any change to that whatsoever? Like, is it said, like if you were living in Tipperary, you'd be known as Gerry?
Well, a lot of the dubs, Tom, call me Ger.
I don't think. Yeah, you're not a Ger.
Which I tolerate.
No, you're not a Ger. You're not a Ger.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't say I dislike it, but at the same time, I'm in no fucking rush to get my name changed by deed poll to Ger, if you get me.
Yeah, no, Ger fucking hurls. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And Ger might be a guard. Gerry, no, that doesn't sit well with me at all. Like,
no.
Yeah,
hey, you know what, Tom? I don't mind what you call me as long as you don't call me too early in the morning, guys. And don't you know?
You can call me Susan. Don't call me too early in the morning.
But you're all very welcome along to episode 5 of the Tom and Gerry show. We're stand-up comedians who have taken to podcasts. In a world first, Tom, I believe we're the only stand-up comedians to do this. Hey, I reckon we could be fucking onto something here, pal.
Hey, do you know what? The amount of them that burn out after a while, we got through. We started it back before it was cool. We were like...
Do you know what we did, Tom?
We stopped.
We paced ourselves.
We fucking, fuck it. I mean...
We paced ourselves.
We did. We took our time. We took our fucking time. But thank you all, everybody listening who has joined us throughout this. We've actually gathered back a lot of our old fans and all the rest of it. People have stuck with us throughout thick and thin. And we've garnered some new people, some very nice comments coming through. People seem to like this fucking giving outy stuff.
Yeah, sorry, Tom. I drifted off there just thinking.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Sorry, I was just. My mind just drifted off to like little high fives and.
This is like being on the phone to your mother right now. She's thinking about what's in the fucking oven and what's going to be for dinner tomorrow. I throw in the ball and all of a sudden, and we're looking at each other. That's the thing. It's not like we're on the phone to each other. We're actually looking at each other. But Gerry just faded out there and went, "Yeah,
I really did. I pieced out there, man."
Look, it's all right. Are you excited for the summer ahead, the spring ahead?
No.
Like, are you doing it in springy? Because you would be the sort of man who would have a regiment. I've seen how you box away your Christmas fucking decorations, man.
Do you know what? I find spring to be fucking interminable, Tom. I really do. I mean, like, I kick into gear in September. Because that's the latter end of the year, and you've got Halloween, and you've got Christmas, and you've got shit to be done. You've got jobs to be done, Tom. You've got patch ups to be done. You've got to prepare yourself for winter. You've got to batten down the literal hashes. You've got to fix things. You've got to seal things, because things are going to leak. Things are going to get cold. Summer I can take or leave, because summer I tend to do nothing, because I'm just lying around the place and enjoying the fucking fruits of my labour. Yeah. But spring, to me, Tom, just feels like waiting. I'm waiting.
Oh, okay, I'm with you. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not resting and I'm not busy.
Okay.
You know that kind of way?
Yeah. And I'm amazed that the Americans haven't gone for because, I mean, they're so literal. They went for fall because shit falls out of the trees in autumn. How in spring they didn't call it fucking hanging around, do you know,
Grow.
or waiting. I don't know. I kind of like it. I kind of like there's burgeoning signs that fucking the dreary days are behind us and all the rest of it.
I do like a stretch in the evening, Tom. Can't lie.
Yeah.
Can't lie.
How do you feel about the clocks moving and all the rest of it? I know Fiji jacked it in. Fiji were the first to go, fuck that. They went, no, we're having.
I wouldn't miss it, Tom. I wouldn't miss it. I'll tell you, we don't mind it so much now that the kids are a little bit older. But I remember when the kids were small, the clocks changing, like when they were babies. The clocks changing was the fucking Krypton factor.
Yeah, we're looking down the barrel of it coming around. You know, it's about to happen, and
because it's a certain regime, hard fought and hard won, to get the kid to go to sleep at X time and wake up at Y time, and then all of a sudden the clocks come along and go, wow, fuck you, and then you're lost, you're gone.
Yeah, I know. So that's there. As that side of things, I think it could be fucking done away with. I don't fully know.
Throw it in the bag, Tom. Who fucking needs it?
I'm nearly 40 years on the fucking go here, and I still can't. If somebody went, they go forward next time, I went, okay. No, I mean, they go backwards. Fine. Oh, okay. I have no... People pride themselves in these kind of things and knowing what way things fall and no, thank you.
On the flip side of it, Tom, people pride themselves on not knowing a lot of things too.
This is it. You will hear throughout this podcast actually next to no facts whatsoever. And if we do...
Oh, I know.
If we stumble upon any kind of facts...
It's news to us. Yeah.
As the fella says, don't at us, because we're not Googling fuck all. We're just...
Yeah, I mean, if you're on fire and we say throw water on you, check that.
Oh, yeah.
Just double check that now.
Yeah, this is
to the best of our knowledge, water will put out fire, but don't take our word for it.
On human flesh, we're no doctors.
It could be...
We're no rocket surgeons, Gerry.
But I'll tell you one thing what we can do, Tom. We can fucking talk. And when we talk, we tend to do one thing, which we nearly started doing right away.
I actually had to pull myself up there. I realized we were
we were sliding down a muddy hill into our first segment without knowing it. Because but hey, fuck it. Let's launch into our first segment now. Anyway, me and Tom, we can get on a good-o about pretty much anything, but every now and then there are things that just kind of set our fucking teeth on edge there, Tom.
Yeah.
And it's good. Like I say, we're not trying to solve the world. This segment's not called Solving Yards, Tom. This segment's called
Giving Out Yards.
Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of your women. That is
good. Giving Out Yards, where we give out about shit, all right? You're either on this train or you're not at this stage. This is the only segment that has stayed true throughout the whole podcast, Tom.
That tells, I think, people more about us than an entire fucking season. You know what I mean? The fact that Giving Out Yards has stood the test of time tells everybody they need to know about.
Yeah, because I will say, Tom, in the 15 minutes of prep that we put into each and every season of Tom and Gerry.
You're being kind to us there, I think.
Yeah. You notice I didn't say the 15 minutes of prep in every episode. The 15 minutes of every
at the start of every season. Gerry. Don't lie to the people.
It's always like, what segments will we have? And Giving Out Yards is just a given. Out yards. Well, hey, it's just like it's there. The rest of it may fluctuate around it, but I can't see us starting the podcast without this, Tom. And Tom, this week you have the floor, good sir.
I have indeed. Look, this is a thing. I suppose some people may deem it as trivial and all the rest, but there's times when you're under fucking pressure in these situations, and I pride myself, Gerry. I pride myself on a handful of things being able to do well. I drive well. I'm a good driver.
I would say I'm a good driver as well. I don't want to. None of us want to jinx anybody, but we'll get you there.
Yeah. I'm a decent shot. But it's the Irish person in me hates saying fucking positive things about myself. But I'm all right at cooking, right?
Okay, yeah, no, I can attest to that, Tom. You're not all right at cooking. You're exceptional at cooking.
It ends up tasty and edible, which Tom, is
without a shadow of a doubt. What we're learning here is that you can, without a shadow of a doubt, drive to a place, shoot a thing, and cook it.
Yeah, there you go. That's me. That's literally me. Don't ask me for anything else. Kid advice, fucking.
You don't need
wallpaper.
A fourth thing.
You don't need a fourth thing. Actually, there's a rule of three in comedy. You don't fucking give another fourth exam.
No, I can drive to a place, shoot a thing, cook it, and then play a banjo. Three's fine, Tom.
That's enough, and I've always said that is to fucking.
I'd love to find a third thing I'm good at.
But of late, I've gone, you know what? There's a faster way to do everything. there's a fucking simpler way of doing things. Maybe I can just fucking, hey, why don't I fucking Google? These are the yolks I have. I don't normally Google shit. I give it a fucking whirl and see what happens. But of late, and there's a reason why. Because, Gerry, just like being good at 3 fucking things, I've always said it. When people ask me, how the fuck do you do a thing? How the fuck do you... And I say, the KISS effect. Keep it simple. KISS. Keep it fucking simple, stupid. I don't want to know 42 fucking things. I only want to know 3 things. Fucking tops 5 things. But the absolute hellacious fucking scandal that's going on at the fucking minute with these recipe fucking pricks. You Google 3 words. How make meatballs. I fucking double dare you to fucking do that on your phone and not punch yourself in your own genitals. The fucking hoo-ha that goes on before these pricks. They talk about I know, and it's ironic to say about a soapbox, but Jesus fucking Christ. All I'm asking is to know how to make these fucking things. And the life and backstory these fucking wagons are fucking putting up there. Peppered with fucking ads everywhere.
So you're aiming, you're giving out yards this week, Tom. If I'm following you around the houses there, at internet recipe people, I don't know what are they even fucking called.
I don't know.
Recipe bloggers, cooking bloggers.
I don't fucking know, but I didn't ask for a fucking blog or a life story, Gerry. This is the fucking thing.
I've encountered this, Tom. I find it exhausting.
I'll give you an example, Gerry. I just for the crack while we were chatting away there. Now, thankfully, I have a decent recipe. Anybody go to my Buckshot Barbecue YouTube page if you want to find out how to do chicken wings really fucking... But I swear to God, Gerry, I have it done in about fucking 3 minutes. I show you how to make the fucking thing in 3 minutes. I tell you the fucking ingredients and you cook the fucking thing too. I don't talk about where I fucking... Like the time I went to Roscommon and we fucking shook hands with a priest and then we talked about fucking cats for a week and then all of a sudden I decided to head home. Waiting here, this is the opening to just making chicken wings. This is an opening. This is an opening.
Is this somebody we know? We're not going to name names.
No,
here, right?
Christ, no. This is like...
This is an Irish person, no?
No, God. Oh, no. These are... if it was an Irish person, God bless them, at least they'd be sponsored. They'd be absolutely sponsored up the Who Hang by fucking Super Value or somebody and they would be straight to the point. And albeit every single item would be Super Value based.
Gotcha.
But
so this is like an influencer on their own back.
It's always fucking old ones who think
influencers on the back foot with me to begin with, Tom. But go on.
Oh, I mean, listen, I know
everybody's got to make a living. I will say,
they're low hanging fruit at this stage. And one of my go-to things was going to be fucking influencers at this stage. But I think I've talked it to death, and I'd probably get a fucking stress pains. But this is fucking
okay.
I don't know what her name. Oh, Henrietta. This is Henrietta's. Now, this is just the start. I want to get in there. I want to see what ingredients do I need straight out the gate. What ingredients do I need? What do I fucking need for these things? And she starts with, I received this easy wing recipe from a cousin on Vancouver Island during a visit there a few years ago. It was a warm day. The kids were all hungry. I knew that Jennifer needed her coat. Now, this is before we... And you're going, are you fucking joking me, Henrietta?
Like, Henrietta, love, I want... Like, you start a recipe with... Ingredient 1, chicken wings. Ingredient 2, I'm assuming salt?
Yeah. We'll leave that. Like I said, go to Buckshot Barbecue, everybody, if you want to find
out. Tom just gave me a look there that was just like, oh, not you as well, McBride.
But what I'm saying is it's fine.
Yeah,
it's
you
fine.
don't need this shit. You don't need your fucking life story before every recipe. Am I hearing you right?
Like, if they want to put a story in there, fucking put a story in. The odd one will have the manners. But they have these fluctuating pages where there's fucking ads popping in. And it's just all over the thing. And somewhere in between, the odd time you'll go jump to recipe, but it often isn't jump to recipe. It's still another fucking whale story about fucking this time they were over fucking Prince of Wales Island and, they saw a fucking orca and they fucking all shit themselves. And the end of the story is always, and then we made the thing.
And then we made the following recipe.
Oh, and it's just, but the thing is, they don't put themselves, like, if they put themselves up there as a food blogger, you go, that's a food blogger fucking website. No fucking way am I going into that thing.
I'm going to stay well away from that.
But the motherfuckers, they don't put it down as that. They just put it down as this fucking Mary Ryan's fucking culinary science, and you're going, oh, well, she clearly knows her shit.
Yeah, she's got, here's the thing, Tom. These people have, like, followers in the hundreds of thousands.
Phenomenal. And I can't grasp why.
I can't grasp why anybody would want such a thing. Because I'll tell you where you don't get this, Tom. I'll tell you where you don't get this. You don't get this if you're watching a cookery program on TV. And I'll tell you why.
Please, because you would know.
Because that shit costs money.
Yeah.
It costs money to put that on TV. If you're on TV, you're burning daylight every fucking second you're up there. You're burning hundreds of thousands of pounds while you're on TV. So, Jamie Oliver, for what you want to say about him, when he's doing Jamie's 30-minute meals, he doesn't come in starting off that with like a 15-minute spiel about getting the oil changed in the car.
No.
He's straight in there telling you, all right, here's what you want to do. Get a bit of salad, pour olive oil over it for 15 straight minutes, and you're sorted.
Plump. Flip.
You know?
Yeah.
He cooks. And that's what you want. That's what you want from if you're in the market for this kind of thing. That's what you want. Surely.
And to his credit, his website, I will say, right, but you know, he's straight to the point when you go to his. The only reason why I avoid looking up the likes of Jamie is because Jamie, for the love of fuck, nobody has fucking kefir leaves in their fucking cupboard.
Right.
You know what I mean? Nobody has fucking, distilled fucking tarragon sauce. You know, and he's throwing these other things out there for.
Do you have it in the back of the cupboard where the fucking?
We're making a salad.
Go pooching around the back of the cupboard where there's half a can of Tate and Nile golden syrup, and you'll find this fucking kefir sauce beside it.
That's the only reason I will give him his credit where his credit is due. He doesn't fuck around and tell you a fucking story. The man doesn't have the time for that.
He's burning fucking daylight on TV.
Yeah. But then these people it's this fucking platform. And I don't mind people having a platform. Fucking go for it. But give me the recipe up the top. Or, at the very least, have blog. Be forced to... it's a fucking scandal. It's a fucking scandal. Here's another one. Now, how simple... I just, again, looked it up. This woman, Jessica, she's a culinary fucking specialist, apparently. Well, she's fucking not. What she is a fucking an unbelievable writer. Meatballs, Gerry.
Meatballs.
Simplest thing. This is where we're going.
Meat, roll it up together, right?
This is it. I put the fucking shit up the top. I swear on my life. I swear. Oh yeah. Well, look, there's breadcrumbs and here's the.
You know what?
Here's the trick to.
This is not a cookery show, guys.
It's not. But I'll give you a little trick.
Go on.
Don't use fucking stock or water or anything to fucking moisten it up. And if it is, use a drop of milk. I know it'll fuck with your chi, right? But when it comes to mince, anything to do with mince, including bolognese, tiny drop of milk. I know.
A drop of milk.
Yep. Yeah. And there's something in that, I don't know, I'm guessing it's fucking cow's milk going back to the cow. I don't fucking know. But I know
it's alphabetical, Tom. What comes after milk? Mince. There you go. Boom.
There you go. This is Jennifer's. We're talking.
All right, Jennifer. Okay, Jennifer. I mean, she'd want to mention cows fairly promptly, right?
Yep. You'd think so, right? But
give it. Hit me with Jennifer there.
This is the table of contents. This is what it's written. Table of contents is what they said, right?
You mean ingredients?
No. Table of contents. In other words, open up a big bag and fill it with shit before I'm going to tell you how to actually make your dinner. Before we got married, my husband and I, Jason, wanted to make sure we knew how to make all our favorite meals. He comes from an Italian family where the love of food is their bond. Huh? After calling to Grandma Rose's house to ask for the meatball recipe, I learned that she doesn't use a list of specific measurements and cooks. Now you'd think, okay, Grant, all right, your Tina's up for some of the queer things that are coming. Well, fuck me. There is, we're talking the Old Testament before we get down to anything. And it's not even telling you she's just telling you why you would use such things. There's nowhere on this whole fucking thing is there actually a recipe. I'm scrolling. You see, I still haven't seen a fucking recipe.
I'll tell you what it is, Tom, and it could be what gets to you and what gets to me. I read maybe 2 of these things in my whole entire life.
Okay.
And then realised that they weren't for me, and I have stayed away from them ever since. And it's a rare occasion I'll have to Google how to cook a thing. And if I do, I'll just find some basic WikiHow 8-step thing with pictures. Yeah. And follow that. And if it's not going in a slow cooker, it's very high chance that I won't be cooking. All right?
And it's a fair thing. Stay in your lane. Stay
in your lane. I mean, I think what rankles us, Tom, is that it's poor storytelling. Because, Tom, here's what I'm going to tell you, right? I'm not going to sit here, and you're not going to sit there and tell our listeners, above all people, that we don't ramble. Because we fucking do.
This is what I want to get around.
Because we absolutely do.
I don't mind anybody
having
a soapbox.
we do it in service of the story. So if I sit you down to tell you a worst gig ever, which I will do very shortly.
Thank you.
Like every part of that is in service of the story.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's not a case of, oh yeah, I was out doing XYZ and I was cutting silage and then I stacked the bales and then I went to do a gig and let me tell you about the gig. No, see, that's wasted information up front. Unless later on in that story it turned out that I had silage in my hair, all that shit at the start is fucking pointless.
Pointless.
Pure story. Pointless. You didn't need it. It didn't set it up anything. It didn't add anything to the thing. I consider myself a fairly fucking lean storyteller, Tom. Like I'll always try and not give you any information that's not useful in the story itself. And anytime I do give you information that's not useful in the story itself, that's normally a sign that I'm making that shit up. And the end story is some shit I just thought of.
But look,
so
again,
there's a pro tip, kids. There's a pro tip, okay? Ways to know when McBride is lying to you. Step one is fucking mouth is moving. Go on.
And what's worrying to me is the people that go, yes, fucking lovely, a story before we see what we're about to cook. Because normally people aren't Googling for the fucking crack. They're normally under pressure. They're like, fuck, I'm definitely missing one of the items here. I wonder, can this be done? That's normally my point of view. Somebody I'm going, I think I'm missing a fucking item here. Oh, fuck. I wonder, has somebody done it with fucking substituting in fucking that stuff? Because I have that stuff and it kind of sounds and smells a bit like the thing that I'm missing. That's normally what I'm looking for. And I would bet your bottom bollocks, 90% of people, 99% of people that go looking for a recipe, chances are it's a fucking recipe and not a story they're after. People come to us for fucking shit talk, for long, fucking funny ranting. Nobody's going and go, like, I didn't type in, just before we talked, I didn't type in food recipe stories. I went simple meatball. I actually wrote the word simple, thinking I could fucking just, that was the first one that came up. Thing about fucking meatballs and her husband and Jesus.
Do you think that the people who like this kind of thing aren't in it for the recipes, but they actually like the person and the stories that they tell, and the recipes are
subsequent to it?
Secondary?
Yeah.
I mean, it'd fucking have to be, wouldn't it?
There's a fucking
no other reason to like this shit.
There is a rake of them out there doing it. And they all have, these are the avoidable names. These are kind of names and the ethos of the names you'd be looking for. Like that one I just read from, she's called, it's her name. So anyone that has their name in it, if you don't recognize that chef, i.e. Jamie Oliver, fucking Gordon Ramsay, if you don't recognize it, fucking
I was going to say Paolo Nutini, but he's a singer, isn't he?
I'm sure he does. Apparently his family have a chip shop in Glasgow,
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know why that just fucking leapt out of me. Paolo Nutini.
It does sound, I mean, I know you're thinking of Macro Pierre White. It's all fucking
Paolo
fancy.
Tullio. No, he was a critic,
Paolo Tullio. Was he? I think you're right. I think he was. It sounds the fucking part.
Any rate. Look, yeah. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, like, this is the thing, Tom. I don't think we have I don't think we've like celebrities, I want to say, and we're going to call them celebrities, but like public figures. I don't think it's enough anymore to be a public figure that does one thing.
Oh no, the triple jobbing that's going on. Yeah,
you can't just be a singer. You have to be a singer who also has an awesome Instagram account where you put up really funny things. Like, what do you call that fucking Scottish lad? Everybody loves him. And I think he's all right, I suppose.
Oh, he's a bit of a mess, isn't he?
Yeah. He's not a heartthrob is what we'll say about him.
What's his fucking name?
Fucking pair of heartthrobs that we are.
Yeah.
Lewis Capaldi, right?
Lewis Capaldi, fancier name
right?
than what?
And it's like, yes, he's an excellent singer, but that didn't seem to be enough to get him to be famous. It's like, yeah, you're an excellent singer, but also you're gas crack on, Instagram, and you're very funny and all that kind of thing. So it's okay. You could be two things. I remember a time when you could just sing and that'd do you,
Yeah, well, that's not.
So now with the recipe blogging or whatever the fuck this thing turns out to be called, Tom, it's not enough just to give a good recipe for meatballs. That won't carry you. That won't do it.
I cannot wrap my head around the kind of people that would have the time of the day to go looking and sit down and read a fucking blog. Like, read a blog. I cannot wrap my fucking head around, because I didn't type in food blog. I typed in simple meatball recipe, and all these food blog fucks showed up. It's like, how? So anybody who's typing in what I'm typing in, sure shit can't be looking for somebody to tell them about the time they were in Vancouver Island and the kids were out.
I'm gonna play devil's advocado on this one here, Tom. I hear what you're saying. I hear it all, but I do just want to tell you one thing that I know to be true. Okay,
go on.
You're a very good cook.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I don't remember being asked the last part of you through, but it all looked fucking lovely on Instagram.
You fucking were. You fucking were asked to the last big party.
I wasn't asked to it at a time that suited me, Tom.
Jesus, I beg your fucking pardon. I beg your pardon.
You got to throw these things. You got to check these things in advance. You're a very good cook, Tom. This I know. I've eaten ham in your house, Tom.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah.
All right. And I've eaten your ham in my house because it was nicer than the ham I had. All right. So I'm going to tell you this much, Tom. And you're a funny guy. All right. I don't care what anybody says about you, Tom. Right? If you were to start a food blog, I would expect a minimum of 500 words of guff and bullshit before I heard about a salt cellar being cracked.
But here,
I would be disappointed if I did not get that.
Yeah, but here, look, I mean,
The problem is, Tom, these other people are no good at it. That's the problem.
Is that it?
That's what it is. The premise, I think, is sound.
But you see, also, Gerry, I think you're mistaken the moment you're looking for these situations. What I'm saying is, like, if it's the middle of the day and you're on the jacks and you come across a funny story or a funny blog or a funny lead into something, it's great. But normally you're literally ovens roaring and you need to get out of fucking jail quick. And you're we don't have corn flour. How can I thicken this fucking situation? And all of a sudden you look it up and there's Marguerite, who's fucking been to France with her fucking husband, and they had a great time, and the kids bought wellies, and before you know it, they were eating periwinkles. But that has nothing to do with fucking meatloaf. You know what I mean? Like,
Tom, like, I hate to say this, is giving out yards never solves anything, but like, I think you shouldn't put your failure to prepare on Marianne.
You rotten bastard. Yes, I know. Yes, okay. And listen, throughout all of this, you're probably calling me out almost on all the things I complain about. And yes, the problem does probably lie with me, Gerry. And maybe there is a bit of, as you call it, a road to Damascus moment. But I'm still allowed to fucking complain.
You're absolutely allowed. And I would say if these food bloggers.
You're looking at a food blogger, Gerry.
If these food bloggers want to fucking food blog, Tom, they'd want to get a wee bit better at it. Have a bit more crack. And if they want to talk about a recipe, like, tie in their ramblings before it. You're absolutely right. Nobody needs to know about the fucking gauge on the tires that they were getting before they they drove to
and that's
a province.
I love a good story and I love a good chat, but there is no relevance even at the top of the story. It's like, we have the title.
It's pure storytelling, Tom.
Oh, and there's nothing to grab you at the beginning that even relates. You're like, okay, maybe she picked up. What the fuck is she talking about? There is nothing here for me. And then,
I'd rather fucking starve than
bury
that
the
shit,
recipe somewhere in it, where it's not actually just. Well, that's the recipe.
Honestly, they really want to do that. What you want to do, and I don't know nothing about these people, Tom. But what you want to do is you want to break it into two sections. Section 1, here's the guff if you want to read it. Section 2, here's the recipe for those that are in a hurry. That you fucking right click, find recipe, and it zooms straight down to it.
There is very rarely.
I think the problem lies with the internet, Tom.
Do you know what? Maybe
there's a greater problem going on. There's more evil going on here than we know.
Genuinely, the justifiable ones and the ones who are fucking confident in their. See, I think these ones are hiding a bullshit recipe in underneath a big fucking crap story because
smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, because what you'll normally find is they'll have a bit of a story, but there's also a little tab that just says jump to recipe.
Okay, well,
these people are confident.
That, Tom. What are you talking about?
That's one in a blue fucking moon where you'll find that. You'll be like, oh, thank Christ for the jump to recipe button. But 9 times out of 10, it's some wagon talking about fucking the time fucking they tripped their way down the life fandango through fucking Marrakesh. And wouldn't you know it, they ran into a fucking orange salesman. Now, this recipe has nothing to do
for shepherd pie.
Yeah, this recipe has nothing to do with oranges, but we had the most lovely weekend. Yeah. So I just fucking stay in your lane. People, stay in your fucking lane is what I'm saying. As a stand-up comedian who's trying his hand at being a podcaster, I get it. I know the irony in what I'm saying. I get it. But I wouldn't dare force one. Like, I'm not about to get on stage and start giving you a fucking recipe fucking for burgers. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or vice versa. So I'm just saying, look, if you want to talk about food, don't fucking paint it under the umbrella when I Google recipe. Do not be fucking putting that in the Google search fucking drive for recipes, because almost never is there there's a hidden recipe there somewhere if you're willing to try and decipher the Da Vinci Code of somebody's bullshit fucking holiday to somewhere obscure and the things that happened on it. Gerry, I'm going to have a fucking stroke. Fuck these people. Fuck these people. Go back to, do you know what? I shouldn't be looking at the internet at all. I should be just looking up a fucking good recipe book. That's what I should be. Just a book. Straight to the point. No.
You should just get an Aisling copybook and write all your recipes into it and just have that. An 80-page Aisling copybook. No bullshit.
Okay, yeah, okay. Aisling copybook, yes. Would you believe it? Sure.
An Aisling copybook.
An Aisling copybook right there.
Yeah, look at that right there. Ladies and gentlemen, there are other copybooks available, but the Tom and Gerry podcast is sponsored by Aisling Copybooks. Use the promo code TNG when you're checking out to get 20% off an Aisling copybook.
I think there was like 40 in a bundle in Aldi or something like that. It was like, back to school for Tommy. Here we go.
Honest to God.
Some pencils, biros, and
we're giving plugs away here, Tom. We could be selling advertising space here, but instead we're just like Aisling copybooks, suitable for everything.
Jesus.
But you're right, Tom. Fuck these people.
Yeah, fuck them. And I think anybody who is half an inkling of what I'm talking about knows exactly what I'm fucking talking about.
Exactly.
Well, I'm not educating too much here, but just steer clear of these cunts. If you're going to look for a recipe, normally you'll find a BBC Good Foods. The Food Network will fuck you around a bit because they'll put all their measurements are American and there's always way too much sugar and everything. But you can still get by. And a handful of top-end chefs get straight to the point because they're confident in their dish. They don't have to tell you about the time they learned how to
They don't have to tell you like when they went to get the fucking car NCT'd. How that fucking translates into a recipe for chow mein.
Exactly. So that's my only advice to get yourself out of this stressful situation. That is my giving out yards for this week, Gerry. I have to fucking get away from it because I'm both hungry and furious right now.
Well, come here, Tom. You mentioned something there a little earlier. You mentioned stay in your lane. I like that. I do like that. For the longest time, our lane was stand-up comedy, Tom, and it still is, don't you know? On occasion.
Yeah.
Stand-up comedy. People didn't know. People might not know that, Tom, despite us telling them.
Damn near constantly. These two fucking weirdos who are in my ears right now.
Yeah, we've got a couple of guys here that appear to have formed some sort of chef vendetta squad. No, we're stand-up comedians by trade, and we stay in our lane mostly and fucking deliver high quality performances. I like to say, Tom, to audiences that accept us as the greatest showmen in Ireland.
Well, look, I mean, they do, and they appreciate it because typically it's venued in places that are supposed to or were deemed performance areas. Normally, that's always going to be a good thing because Irish people especially, and those who have chosen to buy a ticket to these situations are normally the kind of people who they're open. They have an open mind to these scenarios. They're informed, ready to laugh. It's going to be a good show.
That's a hell of a lot of terms and conditions there, Tom.
It is. But look, once we're all invested, typically it is normally a good thing. But every so often, these things go a fucking little awry. Look, you're always going to have a little fly in the ointment.
It's not every so often these things go a little awry. All right, every so often we're the fucking bad guys in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom chasing Indy on the fucking minecart, and it goes awry by us hitting a block and going flying off into a pot of lava.
Cover your heart! Or I'm like, fucking,
those guys smashing into a wall couldn't turn around at the end of the day and go like, that went a little bit awry, didn't it? Tom, we'll take a rye on any given day.
A rye I would take. You can deal with a rye.
We'll deal with a rye. We don't want to talk to you about gigs that we've done where we told a couple of jokes and nobody laughed. Because, Tom, that happens all the goddamn time. What we want to talk about and what everybody wants to hear about are the gigs when something spectacularly awful happens. Yeah. Wouldn't you know, Tom, this podcast contains a segment just like that. Do you know what we call that segment, Tom?
What do we call it, Gerry?
We call it my worst gig ever.
What do you need us for?
Because some damn fool accused you of being the best.
You son of a bitch.
Oh my lord! And
you know
what?
You know what?
For worst gig ever.
Because I for worst gig ever. You know what I'm thinking, Tom?
You've been enjoying my juicy ones now. I want to sit back now. This is a meaty one now. I know it is.
Pal. This one I'll give you, Tom. It might be my last chance to give a worst gig ever for because it's your turn next week and the podcast is finishing in episode 6. Oh, didn't we mention that?
Yeah, 6 episodes per. Well, I think people would have picked it up
per season. Don't worry.
If they pick it up,
we have a funny feeling we'll be back promptly. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Tom. We shouldn't have called this fucking segment my worst gig ever because that would suggest that there's only one of them.
Oh, yeah.
My worst gigs.
No, it's too late, Gerry. We're 4 seasons in now, and it's been continuously the worst gig ever. So. Yeah, new world.
So worst gig ever. I had to dig down deep for this one, Tom. And it's another one that went way back. And I don't know how I didn't tell you about this one before. Maybe I've told you outside this podcast. If not, you're going to hear about it now, okay? Mm-hmm. This is early doors, Tom, okay? See, here's what happens with most people when they do stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy, all right? Edit that, Tom. I don't want to sound like a fucking idiot.
No.
All right?
No, I'm not.
Leave it all in.
I'm leaving that in.
Here's what happens when people try stand-up comedy, Tom, okay? You go on the first night and you have a good night. Would I be wrong in saying that?
No,
by and large, it's a good night because
it's
your first night out, and by good Jesus, you've been practicing this your whole life.
And there's love. There's love for you, too.
There's love for you. You might have a couple of supporters in the audience.
And when even if you don't, if it's just a raw one and you've jumped up, you'll find Normie, the host, will have got, and this is his first gig ever. And everybody in the room can put themselves in your shoes. And they'll go, oh, you brave cunt.
Right, give him a fucking yard.
Yeah.
All right? Now, you might get a couple of those, and then you'll have a couple where your arrogance overtakes you. Yeah. And they'll be stinkers. Yeah. And they'll fucking suck. And then you'll try and get it back the next gig you do, and you won't get it back.
Oh, you'll chase that dragon.
You've got like a deal breaker gig about 6 or 7 in. Within the first year, you've done 6 or 7 gigs. 3 good, 3 shit. The 7th one will sort you out. Yeah. It's either going to be good, and you're like, right, I have the hang of this now. I'm not going to fall off this bicycle again. And if I do, I know how to get back up on it again. Or you're going to have another shit gig, and you're going to be right, fuck that. I'm away. I'm gone. Fuck this.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Well, guess which one this one's, Tom?
God, you had me in the palm of your hand there, Gerry.
What I want to say is that's where a lot of people stop doing stand-up comedy. It's where most people fall off. First year, you just decide, fuck this, it's not for me. Yeah. Or you decide, I'm going to do this if it fucking kills me, and you stick at it doggedly for years, despite sense and reason. All right?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, I'm still here, right? But I had a night that it nearly all fucking stopped, okay? It was early door within the first year of doing stand-up comedy, and I was still living back home in Carrickmacross, and there was only a couple of places up in Dublin that would take you. That would give a newcomer a gig, basically. Yeah. What I'm saying. And there was one particular open mic night that took place in a venue in town, and it's still there to this day. And anybody, if you talk to any stand-up comedian, where did you do your first gig? 9 times out of 10, it's going to be this place. Okay, very welcome into new acts. They'll give you a gig anytime. Okay. And I had played this place a couple of times. I'd done well in it. I'd done poorly in it. But like I said, this is first year, and I'm about 8 or 9 gigs in. And this one, every gig could determine whether or not you're going to do it anymore. Okay?
So will you tell me this? Where was confidence levels at? You know what I mean? Tom, had your 3 good, 3 shit?
I'm not. I was never hurting for confidence, Tom. And the word with me is not confidence. It's arrogance. You know.
Oh yeah.
Pure arrogance.
Like egomania. Yeah,
absolute egomania. I had a couple of horrible gigs. I had a couple of good gigs, and I felt like I know how to do a bad gig, and I'm learning how to do a good one. So I could get there, but I also was confident enough in my skills that I would ask people to come.
Oh, Jesus. All right.
So if you want to come see me, you can come see me now, okay?
Oh, wow. Because for anybody wondering, is that a big fucking deal? maybe night 1, night 2, okay, bring some moral support. But after that, once the wheels come off, the stabilizer wheels come off, you're kind of thinking, I'm fucking smashing life. And when you die a few times, you do not want anybody there that knows you. Yeah. Because there's only one thing worse than dying in front of strangers, and that's dying in front of fucking friends and family.
Dying in front of someone you know. It's not great. So I'm early doors. It's about 9 gigs in, first year. And I should stress at this point as well, Tom, I'm a single man at the time.
Okay, right.
All right. And this is about a year before I met my wife. And so I'm going to put it at like 2018. Maybe late 2017, early 20... No, I fucking done that thing again,
I was just
Tom.
going, Jesus
I done
Christ.
that thing again. I fucking completely skipped a decade, didn't I?
I was at your wedding, and on my brain...
You were at my wedding in fucking 2012.
Maybe he's talking sense here.
Oh my God, I did that thing where I keep thinking that... where I keep thinking that 1999 is 10 years ago.
Yeah, and we're both... You're 30, and I'm 29.
How do you fucking forget a decade, Tom?
No, Gerry.
2008.
Oh my God, man.
Met my missus in 2009. So this is like 2007, 2008. Thereabouts, okay? And I had met through friends and met this girl up in Dublin, and I'd only been talking to her once or twice. I don't met her once in real life at a party. And then I got her phone number or what have you, and like we were texting back in the day. And I said, look, okay, how about we go out? I'm going to take you to a gig. Right?
Oh Jesus!
She knew I did gigs, so I was gonna meet her at this thing, right? So she had texted me at like 8:00. The show kicks off at 9:30, and she texted me at like 7:00, going like, "What time are you coming up? Do you want to get a drink before?" And I goes, "Look, I'm going to be driving, so I'm not going to be drinking. XYZ, I got to drive from Monaghan, but I'll be up around about 9:00, and I'll see you at the venue about 9:00. Leave Carrick at 7:30. Drive up, you'll be up in Dublin by 9:00, easy, and then you sleuth along. Show at 9:30. Depending on when you're on, normally you'll be over 11:30. We're looking at a good night here. She goes, look, I'm taking some friend of mine. I goes, okay, that's good. You don't want to be sitting in the pub by yourself. And you know yourself at gigs time. You're not in the humour to fucking chat. You're like, I'm going to basically abandon you in the middle of this pub and you're going to fucking stay there while I fucking sit in the stairwell and sweat my bollocks off trying to learn 7 minutes of material, right?
Uh-huh.
So the pressure's on, right? And
were you feeling the pressure to impress her now?
Feeling loads of pressure. Okay, nothing but pressure here, Tom. Great. I got a whole pile of pressure. Okay, I got the pressure because I got this potential suitor in the crowd.
I love that she might have brought her fucking parents with her too. Like just
could have brought many people. Who knows? Don't know. All right. Can I bring a friend? Yes, that could be 10 friends come the end of it. Because you tell you, Tom, like if somebody says, look, I'm about to start going out with start courting this fucking stand-up comedian and he's on tonight, do you want to see them? All their friends will absolutely say, yes, I want to see whatever this fucking dipshit has in store, right?
Yeah.
So that's okay. I jumped into my trusty Toyota Ventus about 7:30, and I was on the way up to Dublin. The pressure is on because there's a young lady up here, and you want to impress, so you want to really fucking bring your A game. And not only that, Tom, I was still of the notion people don't realize that, like, when you start doing stand-up comedy, like, if you want to go far on stand-up comedy, basically all you have to do is like fucking stick around and not be absolute shite.
Yeah, pretty much.
But when you start out, you don't know that. You think that one bad gig is going to completely shipwreck you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You think that if I do a bad gig, or if I step out of line, or if whatever happens, I'm done, I'm goosed, I'm toast. Swing and miss, pal. Every fucking gig I went to for that first 2 years was like Eminem at the start of 8 Mile. You know what I mean? I was like, if something has to happen tonight, man, can I fuck it up tonight? And if you fuck it up, you're gone.
Trying to clean your mother's spaghetti off your fucking hoodie. Yeah.
And spoiler alert, Tom, it's not that at all. Like, if you're relentlessly shite, you're not going to get booked. That's true. But like,
don't give away the game here, Gerry. There might be potential fucking. We want people to go through the same pain we went through. Don't you dare be giving away the game. It absolutely, people, is that fucking serious that you may drop dead if you don't end up fucking smashing.
We don't want no more fucking sharks in the tank.
Exactly.
All right. So I got all this on my mind when I'm driving up to Dublin, and let me see. I was about 27 at the time. Not a dangerous driver, Tom, but didn't take me long to get to Dublin, if you know what I mean. I'm driving up the big road, and I go through the toll bridge. The big road.
Fancy bastard.
The fucking big road, all right? Going through the toll bridge. I don't know if you know the M1 from Dundalk to, you know the one.
Yeah, I know it.
And I'm going through the toll bridge at Drogheda, the Boyne Valley toll bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And I look over to the left, and there's another car coming out at the same time, right?
Right.
Now, Tom, that's a race.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
You know, not now that we know how to drive and be safe and not be fucking stupid bastards and have a bit of sense, but as a 27-year-old man driving an event, as I looked over and I goes, oh no, you're not getting out in front of me.
What was he driving?
He was driving a red car. That's all my memory will tell me. All my memory will tell me. I remember it was like a maroony, whiny red. People can't see this because it's a podcast, but you see that paintbrush, Tom?
Yeah.
It was that colour, right?
Right. Yeah. Oxblood,
right? There you go.
Yeah.
Now, he doesn't fucking know that there's a Monaghan lad 3 lanes across from him that just has made up his mind that he's going to get out in front of him. But that's what I have determined to do, right? So I plonk it into second, Tom, and I sink the boot to pull out in front of him. I'm getting up this road in front of him.
What are we talking? 1.8, 2 litre diesel?
No, it was like a 1.6 petrol, Tom.
Avensis? Yeah.
Well, you know,
petrol.
14 years will dizzy a man's memory of it, Tom, but it was around about that size. I remember that the insurance of it wasn't all that there, and it was petrol because I only got diesel there last year for the first time ever. Yeah, so it was around about the 1.4, 1.6. I know there's a 0.2 in the middle of that that makes a lot of it, but that was about the size of it.
I need.
Does that sound big or small to you?
Yeah, it's middle. Yeah, middle. But why petrol? God, of all the counties,
I didn't fucking know any better.
Of all the counties that would have had diesel for sure, I definitely would have thought Monaghan would have had. Or were you trying to shake off the stigma? Is that it? You were trying to shake off the stigma?
I had always been told by everybody that diesel was a dirtier fuel and that petrol was cleaner and by and large you'd have less maintenance. But Tom, I feel like we're getting off the subject.
Oh yeah, sorry, shit, sorry, yeah. You brought up fucking automotive shit.
I didn't think I was going to be raked over the coals of the fucking brake horsepower of the car I was driving 14 years ago.
You know what you're doing when you talk to me about fucking this kind of stuff. You're like, I can't just walk past that or pretend I didn't see it. All right, meanwhile,
I got one coming up for you right now.
Right, so you've got a fucking vein down the side of your head like you're fucking Go Grease Lightning, you're John Travolta, you've got foot to the floor, the event is fucking tearing up the road.
I'm on the left-hand lane, so it's not like I'm in anybody's way, so I'm looking to get into the left-hand lane to get the fuck away up to Dublin. And I sink the boot. And into third, I'm going way too fast in third. Nobody around me, but I'm leaving your man in the distance, and I'm great, and I sink the boot, Tom. And then all of a sudden, the needle of the revometer just goes...
And she stays up there.
All the way up to 9.
Like Cole Trickle in fucking in Days of Thunder when he blew the fucking engine.
Just something went.
Yeah.
And I'm like, even though the cars are it's slowing down, it's going nowhere. And I'm like, third, no, put it into fourth, and like the gear stick is just like a floppy Mickey. It's just
oh,
it's nowhere. It's just nowhere there, right? And I'm like, first, second, third, nothing. There's absolutely nothing. It's just a fucking wet noodle in my hand. And the car's just revving and nothing's going on and the car's slowing down.
Do you know, a hardline feminist would absolutely fucking go over you and just say how apparent and metaphoric all that was for your fucking male
I was
bravado.
Doing my arrogant male
you absolute fucking wasp
thing.
You just the patriarchy just fucking out there and you look at yourself.
Me, Tom.
Look at yourself, Gerry. Fucking scandalous.
Did it to myself.
Yeah, you did. You deserved everything.
And I put the car was in neutral, and I indicated left, and we limped to the side of the road. We were well up from the toll booth. We were about like a mile up from the toll booth. So I'd pulled up a good bit, and I'd been going along rightly, and then the thing just fucked up. Okay. Now I can't to this day tell you what I broke in the car, Tom, but I knew that it wasn't a thing that I could fix.
Yeah.
The only way I ever know what's wrong with a car is if I've already broken it, and if it happens again...
Oh, goes again, yeah.
I'll be able to say, oh, well, that's the slave cylinder for the clutch or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Because I've done that before, and I know what that feels like. So I'd done something on the clutch to another car that I'd had a couple of years back, and I goes, okay, you've done something with the clutch, that's why it won't go into gear, okay? That's as simple as that is, right?
Yeah.
So what you need to do is pull over, compose yourself, put the car into first, and get going, and then you'll be able to pull it gear to gear the rest of the way.
Okay, yeah.
And we'll get this boat to Dublin, right? It's not going to be pretty, but we'll get this fucking car to Dublin, right? And I'm looking at my watch going like, God damn, I didn't need this, right? And it wouldn't go into it. And I goes, no, think, what did you do the last time? You couldn't do it while the engine was running. You have to switch off the engine, put the car into gear, then switch on the engine with your foot on the clutch, and then drive off like that. Any of this ringing any bells with you, Tom? You've done this, I'm sure, in your time. It's how you get a car with no clutch to clutch.
Yeah.
And none of this was happening. Basically, the gear stick just would not go. It wouldn't find anything. There was nothing for it to find.
Right, yeah.
Now, we've done this since in another car. My missus did it on the side of the road. Spoiler alert, it's not the girl I meant to meet in Dublin.
I was wondering, so I was going, I haven't heard this story before, right?
I know, this is called Worst Gigs Ever, Tom. Where we've done it in another car we've had since, where it's like a link goes somewhere in it, that when you go to put the car in first, you're actually putting it in fourth. It's all fucked up, and you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the synchro is fucked.
The synchro's fucked, and that's not. If you know what you're doing, you can fix that on the side of the road.
Yeah, you can.
Enough
Yeah.
to get you home.
If you can get that road, you can often get your hand down and just get it together, like
and just put like this is. There are certain things that you can wrap a pair of tights around it and it'll get you home. Okay, but that's not what I have here, and no. I'm at the side of the road going like,
your tights are on and they're not going to fucking do anything.
Okay, and I'm like, okay, the car is starting and it's taking over, so I haven't blown the head gasket, I haven't done anything, and it's clutch and it's clutch and gearbox related, and as it turned out, Tom, yes, that's exactly what it was. But this car is not going to Dublin.
All right,
it's on the side of the road, about 2 mile south of the Boyne Valley toll bridge, and that's where it's gonna fucking stay.
And you're fucking sweating bullets now because you still haven't told your man you can't show up to the gig. You're like,
I can't ring this man and tell him I'm not going to this gig because he'll never book me again. And I can't fucking ring this lassie because she's just never going to fucking show up again. But I had to make that call, Tom, because there was no way I was getting to Dublin. And that was a long, cold, hard 20 minutes on the side of the road, realising, okay, I have to make 2 phone calls here. Number 1, I'm not going to be courting this young one. Number 2, stand-up comedy career is dead, right?
Yeah.
You had to fucking make your peace with those things. All right? You really did. This was a fucking cold, hard decisions had to be made here.
That was a big, that was a big night for you.
That was a big night. So I texted. I called the comedy guy and I texted her.
Have you met her since? I would love to fucking.
No. If by some fucking chance you're listening here, that would worry me, to be honest with you, that you've tracked me down after all these years. I rang the comedy guy. I said, look, I'm fucking dreadfully sorry, but something's gone desperately wrong in the car, and I'm parked on the side of the road here, and this son of a bitch is not going anywhere. He goes, that's fine. I goes, look, I'm so sorry. I don't want you to think bad of me. He goes, no, like, how's a fortnight sound? I goes, how's a fortnight sound for sorry? He goes, for a gig. I've a slot in the fortnight. You can do that instead. I was like, oh. Comedy career is saved. Wonderful, happy days. And then I texted herself and go, look, I'm terribly sorry, but I'm fucking on the side of the road. And she, she texted back as if to say, like, sure you are. But as she said herself that she hadn't left the house yet, so she was fine. And that was it. And I goes, look, I'll text you in the morning and let you know how I got on. And I didn't. And she never texted me, and that was it, right?
You bastard.
I'm a bastard, Tom.
Yeah.
But I am also stuck on the side of the fucking M1.
Fuck of all right. Cold, and that's a cold spot.
Miserable. Man. 7:30 of a fucking cold, I think it was like in April evening. It was a bastard of a thing, right? Now, I had avenues to get home, okay? I could ring home and I could get my dad to come up the road and pick me up, okay?
You weren't that
a wrinkle in this story is that not long before this, my dad had been in hospital and he'd only after gotten out, so he was like recuperating at home. And the last thing I could not fucking do was ring this man and say, look, Dad, I know you're only a fortnight out of hospital, but can you get in your car and fucking drive an hour up to pick me up on the side of the road and back down? I couldn't fucking do that to the man, right? And then I looked through the phone for who would pick me up and take me home, right? And I didn't want, and I was like. Because there was a lot of numbers. There was a girl I was after breaking up. I went out with her for a long time, and I was only after breaking up with her the year beforehand. And I goes, I can't, And then half of the fucking friends list on the phone was like all people on her side.
Oh fuck!
And then the other half on the other side was like lads I used to fucking know, but I'd been going out with this one for so long that I hadn't talked to them in years. And I'm like, motherfuck this. I am alone on the side of the road. I'm fucked. I'm gone.
What an apex of a moment.
Like, what a lot to fucking happen for a man that was going up to do 7 minutes in the fucking Halfpenny Inn, right? So I goes, okay, I'm walking home.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Up the M1.
Once I got that notion in my head, I was like, I'm fucking walking home. And I got out of the car and I crossed 6 lanes of traffic over to the far side of the road to walk home the fucking northbound road at the M1.
Holy
this shit
fuck.
is happening. And that wasn't all that stupid, Tom. I said to myself, I'm going to walk home, but first, I'm going to see if I can get Matthew's bus to pull over and pick me up. Right? All right, so anybody that is from Dundalk or Carrickmacross will know Mattis's bus. Also, as it's written, it's like as you would write Dave Matthews Band, but up our way they called it Mattis's.
Yeah, because I definitely knew what you were on about, but then you started saying Mattis's. I'm like,
Mattis,
who is this Jewish bus owner?
Yeah,
like,
Mattis's. No,
right.
It's like, yeah.
It's Matthews.
So like up our way, the Dave Matthews Band would be the Dave Mattis's Band.
That doesn't make any sense to go.
Well, what do you want from me, Tom? That's just what it is. All right?
Okay.
So I said, look, Mattis's bus, I knew this much for a fact. I know Mattis's bus, because they live and die by this. They go from Dundalk to Dublin on the hour, every hour. There and back again. A Hobbit's Tale. So you don't have to wait long for a Mattis's bus to come along. And Mattis's buses are owned and operated by the Mattis family, who are from Enniskeen. And the depot is in Enniskeen. And Enniskeen, as you might know, Tom, is about, it's about 3 miles away from where my home place is.
Yeah.
So I'm like, here's what my plan is to do. I'm going to walk down to the toll booth on the northbound end of it, which is about a mile or so from where I'm fucking marooned here. Okay, I'm going to ring. There was a guy in Carrickmacross who had he was like the scrap man, if you know what I mean. But his job was to tow cars, but also it signaled a death knell if you had to call this guy. I don't know his real name. His name was Soundy. That was his nickname, right? So and we'd always tease each other if you bought a car. If you bought a new car, if someone bought a new car, you'd be like, "Oh, good. Did they give you Soundy's number with that?"
Yeah. It was
hinting that your car was shite and you were going to eventually have to call Soundy to come pick it up. Okay. And this was my first time calling Soundy. I'm like, motherfucker, I've got to fucking call Soundy now. And also money was a factor as well, Tom. I'm like,
around the town too. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how much that shit's going to cost to replace and repair. And I gotta fucking pay Soundy. God damn it. I had a lot going on in my mind. And I was like, bull take ignorant, and I'm gonna fucking walk here.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna see if Mattis's bus will pick me up. That's a good enough plan, right? And the only place that in my mind that Mattis's bus would even fucking slow down on the M50 was at the toll bridge. So it was my intention to hang around at the toll bridge until Mattis's bus came along,
right,
and just fucking plead mercy and say, look, I'm stranded up there. Maybe even I might know the bus driver. Because like I said, they're from Enniskeen. We're from the same area, right?
Okay.
So I goes up to the toll booth.
They're looking at you like this guy just fucking walked out of the desert.
Out of the fucking desert, right? And I walk up to the toll booth, and it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, so it's not rush hour. It's not like there's fucking thousands of cars.
Can you imagine being the guy in the toll booth just looking at you going, that's a fucking mirage. There's no way there's a guy walking up to me here.
Well, if you were that man in the toll booth and some clearly fucking stressed out 27-year-old man walked up to you in your fucking toll booth and got you to look up from Mojo magazine or whatever the fuck you were reading and said, sorry to annoy you, but did Mattis's bus go through yet, or is it due? Like, if I missed one, there'll be another one along in 50 minutes. But ideally, there'll be one along in 5, and I'll keep you the fuck out of this place nice and lively. I goes, did Mattis's bus go through yet? He goes, they'll not pick you up on the road. And I was like, you fucking do or draw this son of a bitch. That's your reply. That's your reply to a man. They'll not pick you up on the road. They'll not pick you up on the side of the road.
Rather than going, dude, what the fuck are you doing here, man?
Do you want to come in? You want to sit down? Want a cup of tea? Are you in danger? Do you need assistance? Wow. I'm like, where's Matt? Oh, they'll not pick you up on the side of the road. And he said it like he gets this every fucking hour.
I was just going to say that sounds like he's got this before.
Right? Like, people just come out of Drogheda and cut across the fields and jump onto the road to get Mattis's bus. Do you know?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I'm like, in my brain just goes, you don't have time to argue with this man. No help will be given to you here.
Yeah.
Keep walking. And
Okay, right.
I goes, all right, thanks anyway. And I just walked off. And he fucking said nothing, Tom. He didn't stop me. He didn't make any attempt to give me assistance. He just goes, and I fucking walked off. And it was there. I left that toll booth, Tom, with the fucking sole intention to walk home to Carrick Cross. And here's the funny thing, Tom. I knew how long that was. Damn near to the inch. And I'll tell you how I knew that.
Fuck. Go on.
I had been in conversation with somebody not that long before about marathons and such like. Now, it took me 10, 12 years after the fact to actually get around to doing a marathon.
Oh, yes.
But I remember we were at the time going like, fuck me, a marathon, that's far, isn't it? Yeah, 26 miles. And I goes like, how far is that if you started here and started running? Don't know. I goes, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. All right. Next time I'm going to Dublin, which is on the regular, I will just owe the odometer.
Uh-huh.
I'll just owe it, put it at O's, and I'll drive, and I'll see how far it takes to get to 26 miles.
Right.
So from a point in Carrick Cross, I knew exactly where on the Drogheda Road was 26 miles.
Where was it?
And it was right, and I mean damn near to the yard, Tom, right underneath the Boyne Bridge, the blue lights of the Boyne Bridge, the big bridge.
Yeah.
From Fiddler's Elbow, Carrick Cross, to right underneath the blue lights of the Boyne Bridge, if you come up by RD, that is. All right?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
That is 26.2 miles or whatever a marathon is. Damn near to the fucking inch. Because I remember thinking to myself, God damn, like if you started a marathon from Carrick and you ran under the lights, that'd be a hell of a place to have a finish, you know.
Yeah.
If this was the Carrick to Drogheda marathon.
How is this not a thing?
Why haven't I done this, right? So I knew that was 26 miles, and the toll booth is like 3 or 4 miles up from the bridge. It's a couple of kilometers up from the bridge. So I knew once I get round this way, I had 26 miles home. And once I had that figure in my head, I knew I could do it, right? Because I know you walk 6 miles an hour. It's about 30 miles home. It's going to take you 5 hours. It's 7 o'clock now. You'll be home, or at least in Carrick Cross, by 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. See, once you could do sums like that, it didn't seem so hard, right?
Man, you're a fucking absolute dog. I would have fucking pulled, if I knew there was fucking 5 hours worth of walking ahead of me, I would have pulled that cunt out in from his fucking desk and fucking shook him till he got me a fucking vehicle of some sort. Holy fuck, you're an animal.
Well, no, Tom, I mean, it should be apparent from this story that I'm not in full leave of my faculties at this stage. I'm not thinking clearly at all here. There's a hell of a fucking lot going on here now. No woman, no comedy career. Soundy has to be paid.
You'd want a lot of fury in you to fuel those 5 fucking hours. Oh,
and I'm
Jesus.
like, I'm going to fucking walk home. And above all else, Tom, I just had this image in my mind of me walking across the Boyne Valley Bridge. I thought that's gonna be a good image to remember in years to come. Like, you know, that's the cover of your first DVD, How I Made It in Comedy. Gerry McBride stepping out, just me walking across the Boyne Valley Bridge. Do you know what I mean? Like that's like a good image. And I goes, I want to walk across.
Were you not killed on the M1, by the way?
Sticking the hard fucking shoulder, Tom.
Yeah, but there's...
I wasn't walking up the middle of the thing.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're walking up the middle of the thing, but there's a handful of signs you'll see on the motorway while entering it from any... In Limerick, it varies than anywhere else in the world, where you'll actually see not just 50 cc's and under is not allowed, bicycles are not allowed,
traps
and horses are not allowed outside Limerick, and also, fucking cunts on their fucking hooves walking aren't allowed, Gerry.
Tom. You're not allowed walk, but
please tell me the guards showed up.
The guards didn't show up. Who showed up? Right,
somebody fucking showed up,
and I'm getting to the bridge. I ran. If you know the area, if you know driving up north, you might never notice it when you're walking. Here's the thing I'll tell you, Tom, that you don't notice when you're walking up the you don't notice when you're driving on a motorway, but you'll always notice it if you're ever pulled over or broken down or anything like that. Cars go fast on a motorway.
Yeah,
you never notice it because you're going as fast or equally fast, right? It all just seems to just move like a river.
When your car shakes like fuck when somebody passes you at a fucking 100 miles an hour or more.
You know about it.
Oh, you fucking know about it.
So as I was walking up the road, like, you know, when a lorry went by you at 100 kilometers an hour, like, fuck me, that's like, that you feel that. That's concussive, you know what I mean? That fucking takes your breath away, you know? But the road wasn't that busy, and I was making good progress, and I rounded the corner with the bridge in front of me, and I was like, I'm going to drive across this thing. I'm going to drive. Wish I could drive across this. I goes, I'm going to walk across this thing. This is going to be beautiful. It's a beautiful fucking image. Once I get across this bridge, all my cares and troubles will ease, and I'm just going to be walking across this bridge. And it was fucking stolen from me, Tom, because a van pulled up.
Who pulled
on the
up?
hard shoulder.
Motorway maintenance.
No.
Who?
Oh, fuck no, Tom. That's no. If it had been motorway maintenance, you think this would have made it on to worst gig ever? That would have been any given Tuesday, right?
Go on.
A van pulls up, right? And this Eastern European guy rolls down the passenger side window and he goes, do you want a lift? And I goes, you know what? Nobody else. And I wasn't thumbing or anything like this. This guy just seen a man on the side of the road now, the fucking kindness and goodness of his heart, Tom, pulled over to pick me up. A lot to be said for that, right? A lot of people would have driven past you. This guy fucking seen a problem and fixed it. And I goes, I will take a lift. I will absolutely take a lift to wherever you are going. Because even if you turn off for Cullen or RD or Dundalk or wherever it is, I can...
Somewhere.
It's 10 miles off my journey, 15, 20, whatever it is. I'll take that. I wasn't so fucking crazy that I was going to turn the man down. All right?
Right.
Although the thought occurred to me. I felt robbed that I didn't get to walk across the bridge.
Fuck you, Gerry. The guy was trying to do you a solid here.
He was trying to do me a solid, but I had to accept you're not walking across this bridge. And I was like, oh, okay. And I wasn't going to turn around to him and go like, no, let me have this. I was like, all right, yeah, come on. And I gets into the van with him, right? And it's a white high-ace style van, okay? And it had the... how will I explain this, Tom? You could see into the back of the van, but it had that sort of white plastic mesh between the driver's cabin and the body of the van. So you could see into the back of it, but it wasn't just open, okay? And it wasn't. Some of them are completely closed as well, and some of them have like glass and all this kind of shit. But it was like that white plastic mesh. That much I do remember. And I'm sitting with him, and I'm like, and he goes, he told me his name, which I forget now, and I told him mine. And he goes, you have a problem? And I goes, yeah, I have a problem. Like, I had a Toyota Avanza shit the bed up the way there, and like, I think it's the clutch, and I think it's that and the other, and like, he gave me like the kind of thing that he had English, but not that much English, and I had very little Eastern European, so we were, there was a pair of us in it, right? And I goes, okay, and I was eyeballing the back to see what's this man's trade, right? Okay, because he seemed to be like a delivery driver. He wasn't dressed in like building clothes, or like he wasn't covered in paint or tar or anything like that. Like he wasn't coming from the buildings. He was clearly delivering some shit, right? And I was looking into the back, and the back of the van was the most curious van. It had 2 aisles of racking, Tom. So it had like racking on the walls, but then there was like a middle aisle as well. You get me?
Oh, is he like a fucking mobile library? They used to come to
it was very like a library, if you can imagine, like
right,
that kind of thing. And I'm like, I goes, yeah, car trouble and such like. And he goes, why were you going to Dublin? Do you live in Dublin, or where the fuck are you going now? And I'd ascertained from him that he was going to Newry, and I goes, that's okay. I'll stay with you as far as Dundalk, and I'll jump out in Dundalk. All right. So that's all fine. That part of the story's over, right?
Right. I have no fucking idea what's going on here at all.
All right. So I'm in this van with him. He goes, so what? Do you live in Dublin? Do you work in Dublin? I goes, no. I was going up to do like
How do you explain
I'll tell you where I was going.
Oh, Jesus.
But I could have asked you a question. I goes, what's in the back of the van? He goes, back of the van. And I goes, yeah, what's in the back of the van? He goes, insects. I goes, right, walk me through it, all right? He goes, what do you mean insects? He goes, locust, caterpillar, grasshopper, mantis.
No wonder this guy picked you up.
I'm like,
this is Jeepers Creepers.
I goes, alive? He goes, yes, alive. Also a lot of white mice. And I goes, you've white mice and insects live in the back of your van, right? And it was only when he said that I was like, I fucking knew I could hear something. And in the back, Tom, all you can hear is like, this kind of like fucking locusts and shit, right?
Fuck.
And I was like, what's all this about? And he goes, he explained it to me that it was feed for exotic pets and shit like this.
Yeah, of course. It's the hub in Newry of exotic
so
pets.
So Newry is like the fucking mecca for exotic pets, and they had to have regular live feed ferried down the fucking road on a nightly basis.
At your head, right at that point, were you thinking, is this cunt thinking that he might have to feed somebody's tiger up there too, and I'm now going in the back of the van?
I'll be honest with you, Tom. I took a second to process the information, and when he told me what it was, and I look back, I could see it because there were like little Tupperware containers, little plastic containers. And if you ever go to a pet shop, they do actually sell these for like if you have dragons and like salamanders and fucking.
Did you say dragons? Like I'm fucking.
The bearded dragons.
Fucking, oh right, sorry.
The chameleons. And shit
like I'm fucking Daenerys over here. Yeah,
or snakes, or if you have snakes and shit like that, you can buy lizards and fucking grasshoppers.
Tried to get into the mouse business, actually. Yeah, but anyway, that's a story for another day.
And and once I realised that I was surrounded by literally tens upon hundreds of thousands of locusts and grasshoppers and white mice and shit like that, Tom, I didn't bat an eyelid. Because that was just the way the night was going. And I goes, why not? Throw it on the pile. Throw it on the pile. What the fuck?
Get in there, lads.
And I goes, okay, live insects for feed, fine. Who cares? Fine. And he goes, where are you going to Dublin? I goes, well, I was going up to do a stand-up comedy show. He goes, stand-up comedy? I goes, yeah, I'm a comedian. You fucking arrogant prick. You're not a comedian. You're a lad that works in a hardware shop and you're stranded on the fucking road, right? But I says to him, he goes, so you tell like jokes and things? I goes, yeah. I goes, I like jokes. I goes, well, everybody likes jokes, pal. He goes, I'll tell you a joke. And I goes, okay, well, fair enough. It's kind of my job, but all right. Yep. He goes, we get told jokes. He goes, I go to a school to learn English, and the teacher teaches us jokes. And I goes, oh, like, how come? And he goes, like, because it helps us learn double meanings in words in English, and like when things are two words that mean the same thing.
Yes, of course. You
can make things up. And he goes, like, it's fun and the teacher likes to do it. He goes, and he explained that they don't just sit around fucking telling zingers all class. It's like a fun thing to do at the end of every lesson.
Okay, right. I was wondering, what is going on? I goes,
all right. And I goes, well, hit me. He goes, did you hear about the magic tractor?
Oh, Jesus.
And I goes, no. He goes, it turned into a field. And I goes, okay. He goes, because you see, he explained it to me. He goes, because you see a tractor, like a van, like a car can turn. You could turn the wheel and it will turn into where it's going. A destination that turns into a field, that turns into a car. But if a thing is magic, it can also turn into something else. Or like a pumpkin turn into a carriage for Cinderella. It turns into. It means the same to turn a car into a field.
Do you know what? Everything does get funnier when it's in that dour fucking,
right?
Fucking like, Ivan Drago fucking voice, like.
And I was like, well, shit. How about that? That's a wonderful way to learn English, and quite a good joke as well. He goes, so now you tell me one of your jokes, and I goes, well, you know what? I don't do jokes. I do more kind of like,
how do I say this?
Things like, cause I don't have like any jokes like you would go, but I've got. But he goes, okay, tell me anyway. I goes, well, like, did you know there's a different potato up the north to what we have down the south? And he goes, what do you mean? I goes, like crisps. There's different crisps up the north than we have down the south. And he goes, okay. I goes, yeah, don't you think that's, because they've got their Mr. Tato, and we've got our Mr. Tato. And he goes, okay. And I go, so like, I go, so like, it's more jokes like that I do. And he goes, okay. And the fucker didn't speak to me again until the turn for Dundalk.
Just crickets in the background, right?
Literally, Tom, in an audience of one, in a van going northbound on the M1 after I'd blown the clutch out of a Toyota Avensis, lost a potential missus, potentially fucked up my comedy career, owed a shitload of money to every mechanic in the Northeast. I had an audience of one man with a chance to tell one joke, and I could not fucking make this up, Tom. Literal crickets.
I'm more disappointed not in you or the man in driving the van or the guy at the toll bridge. I'm more disappointed in Toyota more than anything else. Like I have raved about Toyotas for 20, 30 years, and wow. That's
well, there you go, Tom, and that is why it has a place in my heart as one of my where the gigs
fuck is the... Okay, all right. You know what? Let him off, because this is this is a good story. And you ended up doing a gig and you died in your bollocks in front of a Polish guy and a bunch of fucking actual crickets. Wow,
a bunch of actual crickets. Couldn't make it up, Tom.
That was a beautiful fucking worst gig ever. Wow. Jesus Christ. What was the outcome with the car? I need to know.
I got picked up. It cost me about €600 all told.
Money well spent.
Yeah. There you go. And I drove that car for another 4 years.
Of course
I was going to say it never gave me another minute's trouble, but it started to overheat on the way to a gig in Limerick, and I had to call and cancel. And there's no funny story about that. It overheated, and I drove home, and then I got it fixed. No funny story about that one.
Yeah, they're always a bit colder at night when you park them up, isn't it? Yeah. You can get them back then. Suck enough air into them. Yeah, I've been there. Very
my
good.
God. There you go.
There
you go. You know what, Tom? You know what? Stories like that, if you let them, they'd sicken you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. But
we're not going to let stories like that sicken us, Tom. Because you know what I'm going to tell you, Tom?
Do you know what? You're so mad.
You know what I'm going to tell you? We have enough sickening us at times.
We do.
Right? We've got so many things sickening us down through the years that we even have a segment about it, Tom.
Damn right. The brainchild of fucking Gerry McBride. God damn it.
About the trials and tribulations we've gone through physically, mentally, the whole lot. And it's a segment that we call Tom.
What ails you?
It's nothing. Barely a flesh wound. On your feet, old man.
Now.
Tom, you take I got to fucking sit back after pouring my cricket story out there. So
that's a great fucking story.
I'm going to kick back and just relax and listen to something dreadful that happened to you.
Well, you know something will have happened, dreadful to me, and I know we've got a bunch of messages from people, and they want to we got asked to do a live podcast just purely on the people's
really
challenge.
Fuck, I'll do that.
Yeah, we should do it. We'll do it on Zoom, and we just fucking I did one the other night for my own podcast, and it's great. You just pick a subject and you throw out an opening story to get people in the mood, and before you know it, fucking Irish people, they jump on a thing. They're like, and there's an. And
all right, but it's just going to be you and me talking, right? I don't want to listen to anybody else.
Oh, no, God, no. The mute button is at this side, Gerry. It's at this side. Don't you worry. But yeah, there's so many, I just had a lot. I was going, will I tell Gerry about that time I got my fucking tooth kicked out? And I went, hey, the most violent fucking thing. I've played a lot of sports. The most violent sport down through the years that I played was rugby.
Yes, you've got quite the sporting history, Tom. I've never really dug into your sporting history, but you played rugby from when to when?
Oh, from like the age of 12 to probably 26, I'd say. Yeah, about 26.
That's 14 years of hard smashing, Tom.
Yeah, well, the last 6 now I was a journeyman. I won't lie. The last 5 anyway, I was definitely a journeyman. I was different. Would you believe it? I played rugby at one point for County Cavan. Would you?
Okay, you know what? We'll separate this into a separate rugby podcast because I don't fucking understand the club structure of rugby whatsoever. I thought you had to play where you were born.
No. That's now you're thinking about county. Like there actually isn't there isn't a county rugby club anywhere in the country, but for some reason the one in Cavan Town calls itself County Cavan. I don't know why they call it County Cavan.
Probably cheaper.
I'm guessing there's no other ones. You know what I mean? Yeah, probably cheaper, I would imagine.
They were paying by the letter, Tom, on the fucking side of the bus. It was CO Cavan was cheaper than Cavan Town.
I don't know why, but I had a propensity for putting my face places as was described to me. I wasn't that good at rugby, but what I was good at was having absolutely no respect for myself whatsoever.
Gotcha.
And it was probably down to a lot of agricultural raising. In that, what was described was that I'd put my face somewhere a man wouldn't put his leg, which, taken out of context can be put fucking,
I get you.
But I had a propensity that I kind of loved the fucking darkness, and I probably had maybe an S&M vibe going on with me. I don't know, but I just didn't mind pain when it came to these things. And I was thinking, which one do I tell Gerry about? Because there's been a bunch, and there's no point in just fucking will I tell him about the time that tooth there got booted straight out and stuck in the other side of my fucking mouth?
Tom, I know podcasts aren't a very visual medium, but Tom's pointed to a tooth that's not there. And it's not a tooth that's easily accessible by a foot.
No.
It's one of the back teeth.
Yeah. Oh,
I could understand if you got like one of your front teeth kicked out because that I could see that. I could see a foot hitting it.
Yeah, things happen in a forward motion. No, this was definitely not an accident. I got kicked in the side of the face. It split in half, and one half, like a fucking ice pick when shooting across the mouth, stuck in the other side of my mouth.
Kick.
Yeah. I have no idea. Maybe 15 or 16. I don't know. It was
kicks to the head will do that to you.
Yeah, it was violent times. Do I tell him about that? Do I tell him about the amazing time I got my AC joint broken? The AC joint, Gerry, it's like a little piece of bone that holds your collarbone.
Gotcha.
To your shoulder blade. It's a little fucking joint that sits in between it, right there. Got kicked in the top of that. It broke. I got the magic spray sprayed on me. Played on the rest of the game. The magic spray is the frozen stuff, and we're having a quick pint afterwards.
What does AC stand for, out of curiosity?
Oh, I haven't a fucking clue.
No, it's the AC.
Hey, I haven't a fucking clue. Okay, it ain't fucking air conditioning, I know that.
We say it all the time, Tom. This ain't a fucking learning podcast.
But there's no point in going into that. How I only learned it was broken because the magic spray wore off and I couldn't put the car in gear. I kept my hand turned as floppy as your gear stick turned that night. My hand was the floppy noodle that was trying to throw it in. I went, something might be awry here, sir. There's no point in going into that. There's no point in, I was out for 6 weeks and it had no sooner mended than I fucking got in a car crash and went nose to end 9 times across the field and broke the fucking shoulder again. There's no point in telling you that I cracked my breastplate during that crash. There's no point. There's no fun in that.
No, because you know what, Tom? These are all kind of like one and done stories. Like
one and done.
You've kind of told me them all right now.
Yeah.
And all I would like need to know about them.
Yeah. But I figured, you know what? We go back to the most obscure one. Like I think I've showed you the stitches there that I got stitched by a vet on the side of the pitch.
Yes. Your little fucking Harry Potter scar there.
There's no point in going into that because that's it. The story's done. But I think the one you probably want to hear about is the time I got a cauliflower ear.
Okay, Tom.
And how I got rid of it.
I don't know what a cauliflower ear is. Okay, so you're going to need to take me all the way through this.
I'll take you all the way through this. As I understand, now I'm no learned doctor on this, but what I don't understand from what my sister has told me is that you have a very thin little bit, you have thin skin on your ear attached to not a bone. It is attached very tightly, nicely fucking like an air vac to a cartilage underneath. And typically what it'll take is a bunch of fucking rubbing against your ear to fucking drag and stretch and drag and stretch and drag and stretch that skin off the cartilage.
Okay.
Now, if it lifts off the cartilage, you now have a void that's going to fill with blood. So,
right. Okay. Right.
After a serious rubbing session, that skin will have lifted literally off. So the fucking drum skin that is your fucking ear will have pulled off the framework underneath, which is made of cartilage.
So Tom, this strikes me like very like I've seen this happen with a turkey at Christmas, where they lift the skin of it and like put butter and stuff in underneath.
There you go.
So that's what it is. So like
that's exactly it. So on the breast to keep it fucking moist.
To keep it moist and all that kind of thing. So you're talking about that the skin has separated from the turkey that is your ear, and the stuffing, which is cranberry sauce and butter, is blood.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the reason why you see lads with them forever, these fucking rashers for ears forever, is because they continuously play in a position that if they don't protect their ears, i.e. their head goes between two arses normally, or they're between two heads, and they're under constant friction, there's no fucking point in getting it fucking in trying to prevent it, because it's just going to happen. Every day of training, it's going to happen. Every Saturday at a match. Fuck it. Wear your fucking war wounds. Wear them like a warrior. Everybody will know when you walk down the street that you're an ex-ball player if you got a couple of fucking rashers for ears. You know what I mean? Fellas love that pride.
And also boxing as well, right? Boxers get it as well.
Boxing, jiu-jitsu, anybody who close contact, fucking a lot of rubbing.
Anybody who gets regularly leathered about the head.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Tom, let me ask you a question, because again, I'm very green about all this, okay?
Uh-huh.
Is that why some rugby, that's the oval ball, isn't it?
That's the oval one, Gerry, yeah.
All right. That some rugby players wear like tape around their head and like ear guards and shit.
There you go.
And those are guys that either have cauliflower ears or are prone to them, or are in a position where they would get them.
They're normally, yes, exactly. They're normally in a position, because if you're starting to wear that shit later in the down through the years, that fucking, there's no putting the toothpaste back in the tube, as Eddie O'Sullivan would say.
I get you.
You know what I mean? That's done.
Okay.
You may as well. Yeah, they've. You see guys wearing the head guards, you know, nowadays.
Yeah. The fucking Rick Steiner head guards, yeah.
Yeah, okay. We're not. You're fucking Heisman stuff here now in your head. You're going. This is. The ball isn't brown anymore, Gerry. You know what I mean? It's
well, let me. Okay, so Tom. So for people that have never seen cauliflower ears, describe it to them.
If you take your ear and fill it with air.
More ears.
And basically all the indentations become outwardtations, if that's such a fucking word. And also then over time, then it just starts fucking morphing into this. You remember Krang from fucking the Turtles?
You fucking stole my Krang thunder. I was going to drop a Krang reference next week.
You were not. Were you?
Yeah, I was.
Oh, fuck. Look, people. Okay, no, I'm not. I got to leave it in. I stole your Krang.
You got to leave it in. I'll find something else.
You'll find something else.
You'll know when it happens.
There was going to be 2 references to Krang.
We're going to drop 2 Krang references.
Wow, Jesus Christ.
That's why we fucking make good podcast partners.
You're 100% right. Well, that's
it looks. You know what? I've seen one, Tom, and you know what it looks like. It looks like. Do you know like the one bad orc from Return of the King? The guy that's fucking. The guy that's yelling for trebuchets and catapults and shit.
Yeah.
That only in ear.
Well, that guy literally. Well, they're professional rugby players, probably from Georgia and from fucking southern, northern France and stuff that look like that. Yeah. Their whole head looks like that. But yeah, like. I don't know. Like, I guess cauliflower isn't a bad name for it. I would,
it's pretty spot on.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking spot on. It does kind of look like a fucking cauliflower. Cauliflower. So I suppose, it's a fair. I mean, broccoli would have. Any of these bulbous sort of vegetables would have probably covered the fucking thing too. And essentially, what happens, like in my case, I got struck a very, very, very just a freak. It was a freak moment in a tackle. A guy's knee came up, and I'd been bashed in the ear. Fucking, like, I don't really feel much on this left ear anyway, an awful lot. Not an awful lot. Especially the cold. I don't really feel cold on that ear, just because the skin and a lot of nerve endings are fucked from being in that close quarters. But in this particular incident, you can get hit just one time like I did. One random time, a guy's knee just hit it at the right angle and lifted all the skin off the cartilage.
Just like that.
Just like that. It was the weirdest thing. I'd been fucking bashed in the side of the head 10,000 times at this stage. I'd gotten really good. They say, put in your 10,000 hours and you'll be a fucking expert.
Get 10,000
I was
digs.
a fucking expert at taking fucking digs to the side of the head from various body parts, mostly hips, elbows, knees, arses, heads, chests, whatever. Was had been hitting me in the side of the head, but
rugby's a real sort of fucking bumper cars of a sport, isn't it, Tom?
It is, but like it is to a certain degree. I mean, I probably played it a bit fucking stupidly too. Like I could have preserved myself a little bit better, with better techniques maybe, or just not fucking going looking for trouble, because the position I typically played, it's confrontational, but at over 10 meters, not at not at the fucking high pace or whatever. But any freak occurrence can happen any time.
Right.
Gerry.
You fucking neck snap in a scrum and you're just dead, right?
Exactly. Or you could have fallen off the side of the sofa and got the same fucking... It's like a friction burn. And that's all it felt like. It felt hot. It felt really hot.
Okay.
It was like, fucking grand. But then all of a sudden, it started getting fucking heavy. Heavy. And I remember something... There was a moment in my head where I remembered something from years previous. Now, here's a weird piece of education, and I hate educating people on this podcast. I know.
We never do it on purpose.
We're not really fans of it. But if perchance, Gerry McBride, you ever come into the ownership of a pig,
okay,
that is, say somebody, you win a pig in a raffle. Who knows? You might be back up home. It could happen, right? It could happen.
I don't want to derail it, Tom, but up our way, there's a place that does a Christmas draw every year and always gives away animals as first prizes. Where you get like no, I'm making this up. You get bull, sheep, pig, all the way down to like 10 prizes of chicken. But you also have a cash equivalence of it, so you can get like a bull or several €1,000. Nobody ever takes the money, Tom.
Wow, that's country.
Never.
That's
don't believe
country.
it's ever happened. So do you want a chicken or do you want €50? I'll take the chicken.
That's one pricey chicken.
There you go.
So, if you ever get put in the fucking one of your family members for the crack buys you a ticket, you end up winning yourself a pig. And if that pig perchance is beneath the age of 6 months, like the pigs I was hunting onto that truck the time I busted my back.
Gotcha.
If they're younger than say they're 4 months and less, never ever grab his ears. Don't touch his ears.
Oh, okay.
They're going through an extremely sensitive fucking time. And I don't mean like they need to be talked to, or whatever. I mean, you can't touch their fucking ears, because if you touch their ears, they will immediately, you give it a bit of a grab, it will immediately get a cauliflower ear. And it swells up with this green pussy shit that you don't even want to fucking talk about.
Okay.
older than that, grab him by the ears.
Grab him by the ears all you want.
Whatever you need to do. This is fine. Anyway, I had this one particular game, and I think we were playing somewhere in Cork, I remember. And I was living in Cork at the time, and I got a belt in the fucking ear. And I remember the ear getting kind of hot. And I remember at one stage getting the ball and running. And I was fucking so excited. I passed it, and I kept on running to follow the guy to see if maybe he wanted to pass it back to me, if, I'm free. But I remember running going, I don't remember my ears flapping when I run.
Yeah.
But I thought, maybe they've always flapped. Maybe they've always flapped.
These things.
Maybe this is just just a notion of self-discovery that I've just had here on this rugby pitch mid-game. Maybe my ears actually...
the wind's just hitting them different.
Yeah, but this is it. And I was going, maybe this is a thing. We were playing, I may have possibly been Clonakilty. It just, another...
The Black Pudding people.
The Black Pudding people.
Taking it back to pigs.
Good, yeah, there we go. They do a good Black Pudding, there's no doubt. But
they really do.
It came apparent when break and play, the ball got kicked out or whatever. Break and play, and one of the lads, we were just talking about where we think we can see a fucking weakness coming up, where we can see it opening, and he was staring. Like when you have a shit haircut that you're not fucking sure about, and you've got a mannerly friend who's going, "Oh, go ahead, fuck," but he's doing that. Looking up ever so slightly, like, did he walk out of the house without a cap and that fucking thing on? Like,
who put him out like that?
Yeah, who put him out like that? Like, was it did he have an infection or nits or something? You had to get it cut off, that kind of a haircut. And your man's staring at my ear. And like, to be honest with you, Gerry, any facial injuries throughout a rugby match normally doesn't. Most fellas don't give a fuck if your eye is hanging out. It's like, well, that's his eye. Deal with it. This guy was looking at my ear and was like, got a bit of a slap in the ear there, did you? I'm like,
a little something there, Tom.
And that was when I put my hand up, and it was this outer body moment where I was like, there is no way my ear was that size before the fucking game started. Right. I was like, not only have I discovered that my ears flap when I run, I now have giant Prince chart. Oh, wait, I don't. I actually know the other one is still normal sized. I'm going, when the fuck did that happen? So I just traced it back, and I'm like, oh my fucking God, what happens here? Game ends. We put ice on the fucking
game ends?
Oh, no. We played on.
You played on?
Yeah. Like, what the fuck? I'm going to turn around and go, sorry, guys. I hate to be that guy, but my ear's pretty. It wasn't sore.
I don't think anybody would have.
Oh, no, Gerry.
It sounds like you've got a fucking condom full of blood on the side of your fucking head.
Yeah. Yeah, I had. But at what point do you think it's acceptable to turn around to a bunch of blokes who have all suffered this moment? Turn around and go, guys,
it's acceptable to do it straight away, Tom.
No, see, this is why you have worked.
You want to be a trendsetter in this. You want to be the guy that makes it okay to not have a fucking
oh, you don't, Gerry. No, you don't.
Hot water bottle full of God knows what on the side of your face.
No, because this is still the last contact sport is the last bastion of fucking putting the good side out. That's the last bastion. Nobody in the heat of battle, Gerry, wants to fucking know. It's like that moment during Saving Private Ryan where they're like, I'm hit. And he's like, get on to 50. We're all fucking hit. It's that moment. Put it together, princess. Pull it together. We need to finish this game out, and then we'll fucking go talk about your ear. Is that okay? I mean, God was good enough to give you a fucking another one. Now shut the fuck up and get back in the game.
I'll let you finish this game, Tom, but I think going forward in your rugby career, I think you should take better care of yourself and know when to put your hand up and say, I'm coming off, Chief. Just for any rugby games you may be playing in the near future.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. This is some fucking weird charity match where I get to run out with the water. And I'd probably die doing that too. Like, all
right, so you finished the game. Sense and reason be damned, you finished this fucking game with a can of Coke on the side of your head.
It's always fucking icing it up and stuff, and it's like your man is like, that's just not a swollen ear, Tom. That's the beginnings of a cauliflower ear. It's going to have to be drained. I went, okay, all right. Can you cut it now or what? Like, so just thinking to put a little nick in it.
You nicking it?
Just like if you got a fucking black fingernail, same thing. Put a needle under, and he goes, no. I'm not fucking touching. No, you got to go to the doctor to get that properly done now. A nice little nip, and he'll squeeze it all out because he says, you're a good fucking, that should have been done straight away. Like, in a sense, he goes, if you want to catch it, it has to be kind of on it straight away. But you played 60 minutes of a fucking match with it. So
seems like me and the doctor agree here.
So, this man was no doctor. Hence why he wasn't going at it with a dermatologist. Like, he just didn't have the fucking
janitor that nobody else could see, Tom.
Yeah.
Whoever the fuck this guy was.
But one of the lads, a local chap went, well, here's the thing. I fucking got my ears done. And his ears look fucking good now. He goes, I got both my fucking ears were in a bad way after a fucking serious scrummaging session the week before last. And this chap up the road, not far from here, has leeches. I says, is that a disease the man has? And he is, is it like stigmatic? What is leeches? What do you mean he has leeches? No, he uses leeches for treatment. I went, does he? Fuck. I said, what is this? Fucking Amazonia, fucking West Cork. He was like, no. For something as simplistic as this, bloodletting, it's an oldie worldy thing, but there was belief that it worked for certain swollen knees and shit like that the pace these lads take it out is supposed to be a lot more beneficial to the body than. So I'm like, you fucking joke me, because you sit a little fella on the side of your ear, fucking smoke a fag, drink a cup of tea, whatever you want. Half an hour to 40 minutes, job done. I'm like, are you fucking serious? So because what happens, Gerry, is if you don't get that blood drained, fucking prompt.
No, Tom, I appreciate the blood has to come out of you. I'm with you here on this one.
But I'm just explaining what happens. It calcifies, and now you're left with the guys who you're seeing with long term. And I want you to do this
with the fucking crying ears.
I want you to do this after we hang up here this evening. Hang up, like who's hung up at anything. After we finish this, I want you to. No, I'm going to send you. I'm going to send you a picture of the Munster scrum coach at the moment. His name is Graham Roundtree. You will not believe what you're looking at when you see this man. But if you don't, they will calcify. And the guys you see now with long-term old fucking ears, that's as thick. That shit you're looking at is not like squidgy, like it's sticky. That's as hard as the rest of the cartilage. That's the rest of the cartilage.
All right,
it is now a new format, that fucking ear.
Let's get this out of you.
So I'm like, all right, well, I drove there myself, so I wasn't waiting on the team bus or anything like that. So I was like, all right, let's fuck it. I'm up for something new. Let's see. For the crack, I knew there'd be a story to tell at some fucking point.
Jesus, there is. Tom, are leeches like native to Ireland?
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, I didn't hear the accent on it. Hey, you sat in a fucking bus with the bingo bus full of fucking locusts, and I sure as shit, unless there's a biblical thing about to happen.
I'm with you. Okay. I just want to know that I'm not going to encounter a leech in the wild, because the thoughts of leeches fucking squeebs me out, Tom.
That was only because you watch fucking Stand By Me.
When he is
I know.
Leech on his Mickey. Yeah, I think that was enough, Tom.
I'll wait for the day by the phone when McBride rings me. He's like, okay, I jumped in the river.
Yeah.
How long did it take to fall off your ear? Because I got a problem right now.
Go on, take me through this. Take me through this leash story, Tom. I'm fucking. I'm doing my best not to puke in this.
We go to a guy, and he's got like so many of these guys. They already have a farm. They've got a backup business on the go, and he had been his I don't know, it's some family member or a friend had lived in South America for a while, and they'd basically. It was a homeopathic fucking thing where, like, the swelling of a bad knuckle. Now you're as well to not stick a syringe into that. They reckon. Could hit a bone, could fucking pull it out too fast. Stick one of these boys on, they'll suck out all there is to suck out and drop off. Nothing that'll ever harm you. And they're all the time, they've got a little acidity in them. They're all the time fucking leaving it clean behind them.
Gotcha.
So
I mean, I understand that leeching was a thing.
Yeah.
Like, you could go to the barbershop and get leeched like 100 years ago or whatever.
Yeah. All the bloodletting was the thing. Now, in a lot of ways,
bloodletting, right.
If they thought you were gone a small bit mad or whatever, they'd stick a couple of these. I don't see where the fuck that was. But literally, nowadays, it's put it on the point of fucking injury. If there's a swelling, these boys. Now, I don't know how prevalent it has become. I don't know, has anybody else gotten it fucking done when their ears, but that barred this man. And lo and behold,
you go to fucking Jimmy Leach or whatever the fuck he's called.
Jimmy the Leech. He's over there on West fucking
West Cork.
And he's over there on 53rd and 53rd and Broadway. So over I go, and your man's wife says hello. She says, same story. Here she goes, oh, great, brilliant, fantastic.
We haven't had a year in weeks.
So she brings me into this very large conservatory. She's down there like, good man. She says, will you have a cup of tea? I said, geez, I will. And in comes, I can't remember the man's name for the fucking life of me. And like that, he had a Tupperware. He says, Howie, were you playing above in the field? I said, I was. Show me a look at the ear. He says, oh, she's filling up nicely. He says, so this lad, he says, he'll draw away till he's ready to drop off. So sit down. Didn't feel a thing. This guy took him out with a little tweezers. Now he was skinny. He was maybe about 1.5 inches long, tops. Right. And he was as skinny as that pen there, maybe 10 millimeters across.
Okay.
And he's not even. Yeah, maybe he was. And he sat him on my ear and he wouldn't take. I'd fucking nasty tasting ears, but it looks at the sounds of things. He goes, fuck me. He says, I need to get one. So he put him down and put on another one. I said, why have you got a bunch of them? He goes, I just took a fucking bunch of them. He's a little net for taking them out. And
they live in water, right? So he would go to like a tank or a trough or something and scoop out 10
I didn't go in for a look around the house, to be honest with you. I was only being invited into the conservatory.
Jesus. And they're like little slugs, Tom, aren't they?
Yeah, that's exactly what they're like, little black slugs.
Fuck me.
And he, I wish we had Instagram. I would have live fucking done it. Never, we'd nothing. Like there was no social media.
Right.
Like I wish I had, because this is all coming from an old memory where, truth be told, with the slap I probably got, Gerry, there's a strong possibility he rung my bell, if you know what I mean.
There's a strong possibility that you were in hospital getting this done and you're imagining all these fucking leeches.
I mean, there's a strong possibility as a result of all of these things have a bit of a CTE going on. Like, I don't know, but it was...
Okay, so okay, the little bastard didn't like the taste of you, so he got another fucking...
He got another one. So the next fella on. Now, what was the fuckiest thing was, I couldn't feel it, right? I couldn't feel the thing because your ear... It swelled out to the max. Okay. The nerve endings are fucking hot anyway. I couldn't feel a fucking thing.
Fair enough.
But I could fucking hear him, Gerry.
Oh, Jesus, Tom. Is he sucking?
No, it's not the sucking I can hear. I can't hear him going, like, it doesn't, no, he's not fucking giving me a fucking a hickey. Like, well, he technically kind of is giving you a hickey.
He's exactly what he's doing.
But he's fucking... He was moving, like, and I could hear the sliminess of him moving over my ear, over the fucking ear opening, because the ear opening now is down to like a fucking cat's arsehole. Like, it isn't an opening at all. My ear is properly swelled out, so anything now sounds amplified.
Right, so
I could just hear
it's that sort of underwater sort of...
Yeah, but he's flicking over and back across the top of my whatchamacallit. He's probably going, oh, delish, fresh as fuck blood, numb. This is good stuff. You know, I'd been on the fucking a high meat diet probably that month. I'm assuming, well, actually forever. But I mean, he's fucking loving life. This little leech.
Oh my God!
And I can't say a thing because your man's going, great, right? And I'm kind of going, yeah. I'm in now. You know. And he goes, no, you can't rip him off because the ripping off will leave. You'll be left with a fucking cut. Now, in Ireland, that's fine. Put a bit of Germany on it. So it's not going to be a vicious cut. But the idea is, in the Amazon, you sure as shit can't rip them off because you're definitely going to get fucking infected because you've got an open wound. So that's kind of the thing. Because I was going, I can't rip him up because I'll die, right? It was like, not really, no. But he's on. You're in now. You know, stop being a fucking knickers. You're in now. You got to fucking...
Okay, but like, Tom, the leech will suck the blood out of you, but does... I'm going to ask some fucking stupid questions here, Tom.
Yeah.
Does he make a hole in you? Or does he just like suck blood up through your skin like through a sieve?
No, that's
or
what
does
I'm
he actually does he bite into you like a does he have wee teeth?
Yeah.
He has wee teeth.
He has wee teeth. Yeah. Like that's what like so if you rip one off you'll be left with a little tiny cut. That's what I'm saying. Like so if you're in the Amazon, that cut could get infected. You gotta just leave him on. Leave them on, or if they're only just after jumping on, they may not have locked in to fucking turbo drive. But this guy seemed to be on pretty fucking quickly. Now, he wasn't as fat or as slug-like as the lads in Stand By Me. They were big fucking bastards.
All right.
This fella was only a little warm of a fella. Well, he was when he started. Well, fuck me. The gear I must have been on at the time, but this guy had fucking roid rage. He was fucking... He was Ronnie Coleman by the time I was done with him. He was fucking Mr. Olympia fucking leech. He was jacked by the time I was fucking done. Now, I was on a lot of creatine and protein and fucking a lot of other things. Like I was possibly Nandrolone as well. I don't know. But this guy was fucking ripped and jacked by the time I was fucking done with him.
But he did. Does he just fill up like a water balloon?
He filled right up, I'd say, to 4 times his size. Like, there isn't that much blood, but I think he filled up to as fat as my thumb. From as skinny as a pen. He was fat as fuck by the time I was done with him.
And how do you get him fucking off you, Tom?
Oh no, he drops off.
All right,
when he's done, he just falls back, and the RT guide falls back on his chest, and the fucking Indiana Jones is on the television, and he just snoozes through that Christmas dinner.
It's like the kids when they're learning to go to the toilet. It's like, finished.
No, he had a little napkin, and we just cleaned the corners of his mouth like a gentleman. Yeah, just.
And so he drops off, and does Jimmy the Leech then come over to you and say, "That's you, Tom, you're gone," or does he say, "No, there's another quart in you, we got to put another one on you"?
He felt it around. He was like, "That's pretty much." He said, "Yeah, no, she's good to go," because it really was only the upper section. It wasn't the entire ear. It was the upper section had filled in here. Like, I thought I was going around with a car door on my ear. That's what it fucking felt like. But it wasn't. It was only really the top fucking third. But he was happy. But he says, "You're going to have to get that." So, in fairness, he was involved in sports himself, so he knew. So what he actually had. Now, he was saying that I may have to wear. It was the most ridiculous. It was almost like, do you know, like the F1 drivers? You know that under their helmet,
the fireproof balaclava thing.
Yeah, he says you may have to wear one of them. He says, but for now, he says, let's just bandage on this thing to push back in the skin, and hoping it'll take.
Okay.
Because he says if you don't compress that'll just fill back up again.
Okay.
Yeah, he says. It'll just fill back on. So he did. He pushed it right in, taped that over my ear, and we taped it around. And we went to A&E, and they were confident enough. They gave me one to take home, and I wore it to bed. Right. But I sure as shit wasn't wearing that thing out in the fucking building site for the next couple of days. So I just left my ear. Right. I left my ear fucking taped with a thing around it. All right, but
you were giving out to me a couple of weeks ago, Tom, for taping a tea bag to my face to get a stay out of it, and here you go, like taping your ear to the side of your head.
Yeah, well, it was either that or go around looking like a fucking lemon for a week.
Oh, well, you can't
do that in a building
You couldn't
site.
do that.
You can't do that. You're bad enough going, whoa, you know. But, here comes your man. Fucking F1, you know.
Yeah.
It's a nickname would have stuck. It would have been fucking dreadful. But, yeah.
You'd be called David O'Eary for the rest of your life.
Yeah. So, and that was it. It mended. It went back in.
It's a lovely looking ear, Tom. I'm looking at it right now.
It's a bit. They're different levels. You won't really see it with the fuzzy fucking
they're
Eddie Munster thing I've got going on, but they are at different levels when I wear glasses. I got to bend the fucking little
with the long hair and the ears, Tom. You've got an elfin look about you there.
They are a bit pointy, aren't they? They are maybe. Yeah,
I mean the handlebar moustache is kind of throwing the aesthetic of the elves of.
I don't think the elves of fucking I don't think fucking.
Legolas and the lads.
Legolas, I don't think they age.
This is Legolas after the fucking Mrs. left and took the kids with her.
I am taking that. I'm fucking taking that.
She's turned the winds against us.
Nothing but snakes out there. Oh, that is what ails me now. You've learned that.
That is wonderful, Tom. That is a wonderful, horrific, very funny story.
There
which
you go.
I got to tell you is all you can ask for in the Tom and Gerry podcast.
So if you are considering letting your child, into contact sports of any sort, be prepared for some weird shit. Yeah, some weird shit may come down the line. Yeah,
I mean, more on this at a later date. I have a funny feeling that we're not done with shit that ails us, Tom.
Yeah. When I started, and even I started I asked my mother recently. She's like, "What about that?" Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh, there was. She goes, "Remember that time with the thing with the goat?" I'm like, "Oh fuck, there was a thing with the goat." Yeah,
you can't just fucking start that story in Tom.
Yeah, no. That's where that's staying. Like there was, like even with that's why I brushed over the fucking. Because I can't be telling every week a fucking rugby story, but that's why I brushed over some of those other ones just so we can leave them.
No, you gave us a peach with that leech. There you go.
There you go. And
well, Tom, what another Tom and Gerry podcast draws to a close. Why don't we tell the people what we'd like them to do after they suffer through our crickets and leech filled stories today?
Yeah. Apologies about that much in the way of fucking. I
apologize for not.
Fuck it. No, I'm saying it, but that's look. I fuck it. You know what we'd like him to do? We'd like you to do something very simple. If you wouldn't mind, if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, hit the 5 stars. And people have been hitting the 5 stars, Gerry.
Thank you very much for that.
Leave us a review.
Absolutely
now,
wonderful.
What we need you to do with the review, if you wouldn't mind, when you do leave it on Apple Podcasts, and the reason why we're asking for that is that it drives it back up the rankings so that more people will get to see it. That's the reason behind it. It's not because we need advice or anything. So the people that have left us a review, take a screenshot, because, Gerry, here's something I only learned in recent times. There's a bunch of Apple Podcasts. So there's an Australian one, there's an American one, there's an Irish, UK one. So you can leave it on your own one and we'll never see it. So screen grab it. We will definitely reply. So tag either one of us, whether it's the Tom and Gerry Show on Twitter or on Instagram. Gerry
it really
McBride.
helps. It really does help drive us up the rankings, Tom, because I'll be honest with you. When you go on Apple Podcasts and you type in Tom and Gerry and you just get to Tom and... we're losing ground to Tommy and Hector, I will say.
We're losing it.
If you're looking for a good podcast, just go to Apple Podcasts, type in Tom, and Tommy and Hector will come straight up, and you want to just fucking blow past your urge to go near that, and just go Tom and Gerry, and that's what will help.
By them two, you'll hear nothing you haven't fucking heard before. They have a producer. They have it's Tommy and Hector and somebody else. They have a producer chiming in every 2 minutes. You won't get that with us. We are confident enough to be able to fill the time with our own fucking chat.
I'll tell you one thing you won't get with the Tommy and Hector podcast, Tom, is the sound in the background of a tree hitting the side of a wall like the fucking haunted tree in Poltergeist throughout. Absolutely won't get that.
You will not get it, but right now outside there's a fucking storm a blowing.
A storm a blowing.
And there's fucking all sorts of... God... Help us.
So the Apple Podcast, or if you like us on Spotify or anything like that, we've signed an exclusive 10-year deal with Spotify to do the thing as well. We're like the fucking Joe Rogan show or anything like that.
Send us a screenshot of where you're listening, and maybe and we will retweet it, we will repost it.
And do you know what it is, Tom? You don't have to do any of that shit. We'd appreciate it if you do, but you don't have to. All you need to do is next time you're talking to a human being and they say, "What are you listening to there?" Just say, "We're listening to the Tom and Gerry Show." It fills an hour, and
you're doing this in service.
It passes the time, and
we've got a bunch of episodes out already, and people fucking do like it. And I know it's a very un-Irish thing to go, do you know, people like us. It's very up, but people do like the
people do
show.
like it, and the more I hear about that, Tom, the more inclined I am to do more of these, because I'll just fucking drop this in a heartbeat, and
I know
I'll fuck off back into the wilderness for another 4 years.
I know, I absolutely. So people don't.
I can't take rejection, Tom.
Don't scare Gerry off. Is what I'm saying right now. Because
tell me nice things, and I'll keep doing podcasts.
Yeah. He'll just secrete himself back into the hedge like fucking.
Like Homer, I'll just back into it,
just back into the edge. And there'll be no McBride for another 4 or 5 years, so don't scare him. Be nice. Tell everybody about it. If you are on a social platform, which, let's be honest, you most likely are, fucking post it up. Nobody is putting fuck all of any interest up at the moment. We're all putting the same shite up. So just go here. Do you know what I found?
Hit everybody with a little bit of that Tom and Gerry knowledge. And if you're on social media, you can find us on social media. You'll get me at Gerry McBride. You'll get Tom at Tom_O'Mahony. That'll get us pretty much everywhere, won't it?
Yeah.
By and large.
Yeah.
If you search Gerry McBride or Tom O'Mahony, I'm fairly certain we'll come up. We're not on the dark web or anything like that. We're fairly visual.
Pretty visual.
And all roads lead to the Tom and Gerry Twitter account at Tom and Gerry, and as a word, not an ampersand, Gerry with a G, not a J. And that'll You've been very good. You've been very good at actually putting up context. So I'm going to send you on that picture of Graham Roundtree's ear. So yes, please.
Its 2 ears are like something fucking horrific. You won't believe when you see it. Gerry's putting them up there. So comment if you have any backstories, like if you were caught on a fucking motorway, or if you passed Gerry that night as you were fucking driving on the M1, or if you are sick to your shit.
If you work in a fucking toll bridge and some desperate looking man came up to you one night asking when Mattis's butchers were coming along, and you just told him to get the fuck out of here, you're wrecking the booth. Yeah, leave a comment so I know where you are.
Or if you are indeed, you get the same dose when it comes to opening recipes. Or if you are a food blogger and you're trying to justify this, hey, come at me, bro. I don't mind. I absolutely we are that comfortable in ourselves that we are okay to be absolutely fucking
wrong. We will
wrong.
reply to your comments because we've got fuck all else to do.
This is the truth. So this is your time to get in if you want to comment off myself and Gerry. And also if you've ever had a cauliflower ear or some gammy injury, we'd fucking love to hear about it. Gerry will be posting because he is the king of fucking when it comes to Twitter and all those kind of things. So, that being said, all right, it's time to say goodbye to everybody, Gerry.
Good luck, everybody. Thank you very much for listening.
Good luck.